Time for Stiles and Watkins.
You can join the show by texting 916-339-1140. Find us on YouTube at Sacktown Sports 1140.
It's time for Alan Stiles and Chris Watkins.
Yes. On a Wednesday, Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports, taking you up to 2 p.m. Nate behind the glass for us today as we get into all things NBA, NFL, Sacramento Kings, and Major League Baseball. But before I get going, I just want to go around the room. And of course, what is it today, Nate? It's our number 3 and number 2 QB. Ooh, so dang. I will try to stay in my seat this time and not judge anyone. I'm not somebody that judges, and I've never been someone that judges. I am open to all opinions, and specifically football and quarterback opinions. And I just hope we have another great conversation.
We had some input from around the office too this morning. I was talking to Ron downstairs. Yes, because big Lions fan.
Huge
so
Lions
I
fan,
made sure he knew Jared Goff was on my list and not your guys's.
Yeah. That's true.
I feel like Ron, though, probably would have not had Jared on his list.
No, he did. Oh, he did? Okay. Dude, he talked to me for like 15 minutes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
And he was animated. He was animated.
Ron's always animated.
So, yeah, who knows? Maybe we'll get him call in or something.
Yeah. Chris, how you doing?
Pretty good. Yeah, pretty decent. Ready for that quarterback list. Found some interesting nuggets about that Kuzma stuff. I didn't see anybody talking about Brett Siegel's findings from summer league, so definitely excited to talk about that. And I'm excited to rock this shirt today because
it's a nice one. I saw you post. I didn't know if that meant you had it or you were about to get it.
Yeah, no, I mean, I picked it up. I mean, shout out the Instagram grinders, those people who got those Instagram shots, get them up fast. And I was looking for a DeRozan shirt, and I almost bought one that just had his head on it. It was like an NBA PA shirt, but kind of figured it was a bit much. So this is my nice consolation prize.
And those wash okay? They don't fade?
I haven't washed it yet, so I'll let you know. I'll let you know tomorrow.
I know you have a couple of them.
I do have a couple of them. Yeah. They stay fairly well. Yeah. So
there you go.
No questions, no problems.
Well, you know who isn't surviving fairly well? That is the San Francisco Giants. And they lose last night again. Well, I don't know for how long, because they lose last night again. And Chris, this isn't even the Dodgers A team.
Yeah.
They don't have Mookie. They're missing about half their rotation. Okay. They don't have Max Muncy, who's a Giants killer.
Yeah.
And it does not make a difference. The Giants are incapable of getting the job done. And frankly, I'm sick of it. And, somebody posed this question yesterday, and they asked, are the A's better than the Giants?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't think the A's are better than the Giants, but I'd rather watch the A's than the Giants right now. I would definitely rather do that because Jung-Hoo Lee, he's injured.
Yeah.
Okay. Bob Melvin. Where is Gabe Kapler now? He's down in Miami or somewhere because, Chris, for so long, Gabe Kapler, got to get him out of here. Got to get him out of here. You got Gabe Kapler out of here. For whatever reason, you didn't like Gabe Kapler. Too much platooning. I always thought he's simply just doing what Farhan is telling him to do.
It was the TikToks for me.
The TikToks. He was at Outside Lands rating burgers.
I didn't need the coffee ratings, the burger ratings.
You know what? And it made people uncomfortable. And I think it said a lot about.
It's also a little too handsome.
But I was going to say, I think he made people uncomfortable because, it made him look in the mirror. It made him look in the mirror and say, "What are we doing?"
I hate handsome men.
Yeah, well, I love it, and I don't think he was a perfect manager, but I don't think he was the reason that the Giants were losing. They go out, and this is a much better roster than anything that he had to work with. Okay, the Giants, Chris. Where do you think? I don't know if you heard me say it in the pre-show. Where do you think the Giants come in payroll?
Well, I know they spent a ton this offseason, right? They were number 2 behind the Dodgers. I'll say they are – I mean, they're not bagging. We'll say 13.
They're 10th. They're 10th.
And you would not say they're a top 10 team, would you?
No, they're 48-54. They lose again. As long as the other teams win, at best, they're still 4 games behind the last wild card. Let's not forget they added another wild card, and some of it isn't the fault of Bob Melvin. Okay, Matt Chapman cannot hit. He can't hit.
Yeah.
Okay. He kind of stinks. Yeah. All right. Soler has been a bust. Like I said, Jung-Hoo Lee has been hurt. Camilo Doval is completely lost.
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. He is completely and utterly lost. Luis Matos, he hasn't been exactly what we hoped. Elliot Ramos, he's cooled down now. The counter to the counter punches come. So he's got to adjust to that. And it's just a complete disaster. And with all that being said, they still have a chance.
Yeah.
They still have a chance. You got Robbie Ray coming back. You got Blake Snell, who did look better. All right. This is what Jeff Passan had to say about the Giants. He wrote a piece, and basically nobody knows what the Giants are attempting to do. Speaking of, the Giants have yet to indicate to other teams that they're ready to give up on this year. They're 48-53, the same record as Cincinnati, a half game behind the Cubs, and still in the playoff mix despite their abject averageness thus far. San Francisco looks the part of a team that should be better than its record indicates. Elliot Ramos and Lamont Wade Jr. are putting up star-level numbers. 5 other regulars have an OPS that is better than the league average. The Giants' rotation is above average and gets Robbie Ray and Alex Cobb back this week. Their bullpen, even with Camilo Doval's control issues, has 4 relievers with ERAs under 3.30. Compound that with their mediocrity over the past 2 years, that has and their free agent spending spree over the winter, and it all indicates that unless this week veers off problematically, the Giants won't be subtracting, but they aren't likely to add much either. So it's a big nothing burger.
Yeah, sounds like they're standing pat.
They're just hoping to play better.
Play better, boys.
Just play
Go
better.
out there and do better.
Just play better.
You know, I think from the pitching perspective, it makes sense. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know how you're going to wake those bats up. Like you said, I mean, Robbie Ray's coming. He's right around the corner. You got Blake Snell, who pretty much wasn't used. He definitely wasn't the Blake Snell that they paid for this first half. And I know he's been trending better for sure. But you better hope that and I know he did a similar thing last year as well, where he really caught fire in the second half of the year. But they need it. I mean, it's not a matter of, oh, it'd be nice. They have to have that, and then they also have to have people start hitting because it's terrible. I mean, like you said, Elliot Ramos has started to get figured out. I saw some numbers this morning of over the past 7 games, over the last 15 games. It seems like you said, I mean, that you're going to need that counter to the counter at some point, and maybe you've kind of put me on Elliot Ramos being kind of labeled as that 4A player. Mm-hmm. This might be where we start to kind of see that shine. And obviously the Giants, he's been crucial to the Giants kind of staying afloat here. And even then, I mean, where would they be without Elliot Ramos right now? Where would they be without Lamont Wade, without his hitting? I mean, they need more.
Did you see the play yesterday that I posted?
Yes, I did. Yes.
A Gold Glover and Matt Chapman. Yeah. Okay. You're coming in, you run into the catcher. Yeah. All right. And they weren't paying attention. And, I guess basically they were trying
over there.
Well, my question was, Patrick Bailey said it was his fault. He said, my bad. The whole thing was bad news bears.
I don't understand.
The whole thing is bad news bears. Okay. Right now, they're not done. I'm not saying they're done.
Right.
What I'm saying is that it's bad right now.
And if you're hoping on internal improvement, like that's a hope.
That's a hope. Soler, I haven't heard the stupid post that they posted. Soler power. Well, how about a Soler strikeout? Another Soler strike. And why? I don't get this, Chris. From somebody, I'm old school with these leadoff hitters.
Yeah, for sure.
Why on this green earth are you batting Soler leadoff? That is the dumbest thing. Yeah.
You're supposed to be the baseball guy. I can't answer that.
Jung-Hoo Lee was your leadoff guy.
Yes, that makes sense.
He goes down, and games later, I know it's been a bit of a revolving door. Soler is your lead. Are you just trying to get rid of the out quicker? What are you trying to do?
At least might end up coming in a crucial spot if he's in the middle.
At least Lamont Wade will take a walk. It's just, it makes those. Here's the numbers, Chris.
Please.
From the last couple games when they eclipsed. Okay, so June 30th, they beat the Dodgers 10-4. After that, they put up 5. It goes 5, 1, 4, 4, 4, 4, 3, a random 6. But unfortunately, the Blue Jays put up 10. After that, 3. They had a random game with 7. They scored 7 runs July 12th. After that, Congrats. 2 runs, 3 runs, 3 runs. And that's in Colorado.
Yeah.
3 runs in Colorado. 3 runs in Colorado. Then you have 2 runs, 2 runs. And then they play today. It's a disaster. No, I'm serious. The Oakland Ball, you might be able to find somebody that could do something for you. That's how bad it's getting. And at the end of the day, Chris, if you're asking me, hey, Alan, you got to watch Lifeless Bob Melvin, Stinky Matt Chapman, no Solar Power. Okay, the panels are broken. Jeez. All right. Hurt Jung-Hoo Lee, Camilo Doval, who looks like Wild Thing. He can't throw a strike. Or you could watch Jacob Wilson when he returns, Lawrence Butler, who's been a stud, Mason Miller, the best closer in baseball, and Brett Rooker. Who are you watching? Who are you watching?
Probably the A's. Right now,
I'm watching the A's. Yeah. I had to. No, I'm telling you, Chris. I'm sitting there, and by the way, Presume Innocent. Great show on Apple TV. Just finished it yesterday. I'm sitting there, and my wife is finishing up working, and the Giants are on, and I'm watching. Shohei Ohtani, he hit that double. I said, let's watch the finale, man.
Yeah.
I'm not doing this. I saw somebody say, a Bay Area media, they said, I turned on Below Deck. I'd rather Dan Dibley. I used to do shows. I'd rather watch Below Deck than watch a below 500 team.
Simone said great things about
I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. Figure it out. The 10th most expensive payroll in baseball, and this is what you get. And then you want to charge $27 for the crab sandwich? Yeah. Really? Come on. Really? For the Dippin' Dots or the Ghirardelli? Whatever it is.
I'll take that.
Well, that you better enjoy it, Chris.
I will, yeah.
And
that's about it. That's the only thing you're going to be enjoying.
And the nachos and the helmet nachos.
Yeah. Not a big helmet.
Hey, buddy, you take your son or daughter. Hey, buddy, what do you remember from the Giants game? Right.
They had Lumpia. Game. I'll tell you that. They got Lumpia there.
The Lumpia's fire.
It's pretty good.
The Lumpia's fire. Ridiculous,
That's all I got to say about him.
And as if I was, because this is what happened when I got in the car and Jason Ross already had me going. My God, when I told you about that game with Temple, when they played that game, PJ Walker was a quarterback.
Yeah, y'all almost won.
PJ Walker with Matt Rule. Okay, so now after this. We got to take a quick one, and when we come back, then we got to deal with Kyle Shanahan. We got to deal with Kyle Shanahan saying, "Oh, he should have 3 Super Bowls."
I stop at 3.
What's happening? Don't you include the Atlanta Falcons one too? Stiles Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Can Mike Brown build on last season's Coach of the Year award? Can the Kings exceed 48 wins?
We will be better prepared to make the run that we expect to run come next playoff.
Tune into every Kings game this season on Sacktown Sports at sacktownsports.com.
Insurance companies perform a very valuable service, but they want to keep their money. Although most cases settle before trial, it is paramount that the insurance companies know that if pressed, your legal team has the experience to take your case all the way. For 25 years, Ashton & Price has earned the reputation that if the insurance company isn't fair, we're ready to force them to be fair. My mom used to warn me, wait till dad gets home. Think of us as dad. The best part, there's no fee until we win.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton & Price.
If you're not looking for a brand new car, at Elk Grove Honda, we've acquired some of the best pre-owned cars we can find. We've kept only the best of our trades, and our buyer has found some of the finest pre-owned Hondas available in Northern California. You can see for yourself at elkgrovehonda.com. Whether you purchase a brand new Honda or a like-new pre-owned Honda, your car buying experience will be the same. We have the right Honda at the right price. You'll find us in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, Highway 99 and Elk Grove Boulevard.
I gotta get an Elk Grove Honda.
Sacktown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
Okay. Now that I got that off my chest, we can get back to business. Nate is trying to play some music to
this
cool me off.
Really like, hey man, What about the island team?
Would you guys believe
Relax.
me if I said this is my favorite band, Sublime?
No, I would. Well,
That's the truth.
I guess Sublime, yeah.
I don't really like this song, but I
Wow.
like Sublime.
So you go from Juicy J to Sublime.
It's all related. Sublime samples like Eazy-E and stuff, NWA,
Yeah.
and all that.
3-6.
3-6.
3-6
Nothing
Mafia.
better.
All
Hit
right.
a great
I've
VH1
said
show.
enough here in this opening segment. Chris,
Oh.
why don't you
I got you. You
break
take a
down?
breath. You
Yes.
take a breath,
I'm going to
man.
grab some
You're good,
water.
yeah.
Why don't you break down this Kyle Shanahan, Bill
Yeah.
Belichick situation? Combined, they have how many Super Bowls?
I
promise
don't
I'm
know,
done.
6 or 7. I don't know. I really don't know. Yeah, so rumors came out, or not even rumors. Kyle Shanahan, straight out of the horse's mouth, admitted yesterday, said, I guess it's not really admitted, but said yesterday that he offered Bill Belichick the defensive coordinator spot that was open this offseason for them. He said, quote, I threw it to him. I threw it out to him. He loves football so much, you'd never know what he would want. I can't believe he's not a head coach of a team right now. I know what I would do if I was an owner. So that shocks me that that's the last thing you would want to do is to insult somebody like Bill Belichick. But I know he just loves football, and in its simplest form, I threw it all out to him, whatever he wanted to do, including defensive coordinator. I was like, would you be interested? And he was very nice and appreciative, and he politely turned me down. I'm sure that he's going to be back in the league next year, he says, which could, I don't know if that's just a gut feeling or if that's based off conversation. And I could be going against him. This is, again, a quote from Kyle Shanahan to Tim Kawakami in the Athletic. He says, he continues and he says, he could be in the NFC West. It would have sucked if he came. It would have sucked if he came here and then he was going against us. So that's the stuff you have to be careful about. But he's the best, and I just like talking to him. That is the quote from Kyle Shanahan. So apparently, Kyle was, because I think we talked about it more so at the start of the offseason. And to me, the big thing that I remember from that conversation was us wondering, okay, we know Kyle Shanahan's a very prideful guy.
Yes.
We know that he overruled his defensive coordinator in the Super Bowl, correct? Or he wanted to. I can't remember if he did or if he wanted to overrule him and didn't. But we know Kyle Shanahan likes to have control. Would he be willing to kind of let some of the power go? Not only if Belichick was a defense coordinator, because as he even says there, he said, Bill, you can do whatever you want. It's one thing to say it in a recruiting pitch, as I've been playing a lot of college football. I know a lot about the recruiting pitch, but then once you're actually in the building, you have to follow through on those. I kind of still don't believe that he would have been okay with that powerful of a voice, especially with, frankly, with politics that go on. Like, what happens when maybe John Lynch goes to Bill Belichick and asks him for advice on things where typically that's only been a Kyle and John conversation, or maybe not even with GM, maybe with ownership, where they say, hey, look, Kyle has not been able to get this thing done. We need somebody who can get this thing done. And Kyle just brought you in the building. It would be so easy to just move you up, get Kyle up on out of here, and call it a day and win this title that we so desperately need. I don't believe Kyle Shanahan. I believe that he wants to win and that this would definitely put all of your chips in the middle, but I can't believe that when push came to shove that this relationship, maybe I just don't believe that it actually would have worked out. Maybe I believe that he would have brought him in the building, but I think once he was there, it feels like, and maybe I'm making Kyle out to be this big bad that he's just not, but everything I've seen, this dude really likes to have control, and I can't imagine Bill Belichick, who fixates on every little sink and detail. I can't imagine that Kyle would enjoy it all the time.
Yeah, I think what it says is, as much as Kyle Shanahan can say, we should have 3 Super Bowls, maybe he feels like if he had Bill Belichick, they would have one, right? And I think his path would have been, hey, Bill, we're not expecting Bill to be here for whatever amount of years, right? And you get 1 Super Bowl. And Kyle Shanahan, it's crazy that Kyle Shanahan has lasted longer than coaches who have won Super Bowls. Look at Doug Peterson, right? And guys like that. I know when it goes left, but for Kyle Shanahan, I think the play was Bill comes in, we win one.
Yep.
I do have pride, but I don't have that much. I care about winning a Super Bowl more than my pride.
Yeah.
We win one. People say, oh, wow, Bill still got it. Bill moves on,
100%.
and then hopefully I get another one without him. And even if I don't really care.
Yeah.
That's what I think the play was. I don't think it was ever going to come down. I mean, to your point, if it's John Lynch or Jed York saying, well, hold on now, if Bill comes in and just does the one and done, should we be looking at something else?
Right.
Or he's going to walk, and because there's no way we can keep him. And now we go back to Kyle Shanahan, who we haven't won one with. We just got really close. But I think ultimately they all would have been so happy from that transaction.
Right.
It would have been Bill Belichick shows people he can still do it. And on the other side, Kyle Shanahan gets that elusive Super Bowl ring. Bill Belichick goes wherever he goes off next to be a head coach again. Yeah. And Kyle Shanahan just hopes that he can get one done without Bill.
Yeah. And my question would be, because I love mess, like, is it maybe they're all in the Bay? Is that like kind of a Steph Curry KD situation though, where, maybe Bill Belichick comes in and Kyle's like, oh, this is going to be awesome. I'm going to win the ring. Everyone's going to respect me finally. And then he gets the ring and finds out, a lot of people are crediting Bill for it and not you. And it could be a Buddy Ryan situation where they win a championship. And I know the players love Kyle, so it probably wouldn't be like that. But, Buddy Ryan's the one who gets lifted up on the shoulders of the players. And he's the one who gets the credit for the 85 Bears defense. And I just wonder, we're in hypothetical land at the moment. Like, would Kyle get the proper credit and respect? And that, I guess, is when push comes to shove. Would he care? I mean, he can claim all he wants. No, I win the ring. I don't care. What do I care about credit? But
do you think it's any different?
I think he cares about credit.
Do you think it's any different in football than basketball, though? I understand where you're coming from
also
with the comparison with Steph and KD, but and by the way, if someone's listening, that was Chris bringing up the Warriors, not me.
yes.
But at the same time, I just feel in football, it's so for whatever reason, it's just much more simple in football.
Sure,
you
absolutely.
win, no questions asked.
No,
basketball has all these. It's almost as if basketball fans and basketball creators, if you will, they like the drama more.
Yeah, for sure.
NFL is just, did you win?
Did you win?
Cool.
Yeah.
That's it.
And even then we don't really remember.
Right.
Nobody talks about, oh yeah, and Aaron Donald won a Super Bowl. Like that. I mean, it did happen and it definitely does, but it's not something, when you talk about Aaron Donald's greatness, it's probably like the fourth thing you're going to bring up, right?
I also think context matters, and the Niners and the fan base who haven't seen a Super Bowl in so long.
Sure, it doesn't matter.
It would just be Kyle got it.
Yeah, it's about getting it done.
Yes, we had to call in the big. Do it. Call in the. I guarantee you, Niners fans right now, call in the big guns. And to your point, it's more about the Kyle side of things. But I think I just think Kyle wants to get it done.
Nate, can I ask you? I don't know. Is Kyle actually like this egomaniac that I'm kind of making him out to be, or am I kind of overreacting when I say, he would have had issues with Belichick and he does care about credit, and there might have been some stuff that he wouldn't have been super okay with?
I'll preface my answer with this. I think every great coach or even good coach is an egomaniac, crazy person. I think Belichick definitely is
100%.
Look at Jim Harbaugh. I know he is.
Yeah.
Just as a Niners fan, I'm thinking every coach is in and out so quick. But even guys like Doug Peterson, Chip Kelly, like they're crazy. Saban, crazy people. They just don't operate on the same frequency day-to-day people do. So would he have an ego problem? I think the fact that he reached out and said something to Belichick shows that, he probably has an ego problem, but he wants to win. He values winning more than that.
I think to that point, it tells us that not that he's getting desperate, but that maybe Kyle Shanahan 2 years ago wouldn't have reached out to Belichick. This Kyle Shanahan, is saying, I would like to just check this box now.
Sure. Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's time to just check the box now.
Yeah. And it's not that his seat is getting hot or anything.
No.
Because that's not.
It's just the core to me. It's just the core talent he has.
Yes. Yeah. He's going to be around for a long time as I wouldn't be surprised if he's the longest tenured 49ers coach by the end, all said and done. Maybe his ego gets hit. I don't know. I don't think though, like you guys were saying, if they win the Super Bowl, they got Belichick this year. They win the Super Bowl this year. Kyle Shanahan is getting the credit he deserves. I think 100%. I don't think, even if they hoist up Belichick, which I don't think that'll happen because Belichick wouldn't like that.
He definitely would.
Kyle's gonna, keep what.
There would be conversations about it. I mean, like I said, I just think the storylines aren't as aggressive, especially when they're not the players.
Right.
I just think the storylines wouldn't be as aggressive, but there would be some. Oh, can Kyle do it without Bill Belichick? Yeah. But ultimately, would anybody care?
Well, did anyone? Let's say Nick Sirianni and the Eagles won that Super Bowl against the Chiefs. Like, Sirianni's not the offensive coordinator or defensive coordinator. Are people going to be taking that away from him? You know what I mean? Like, he doesn't. Right. Yeah, I feel like that's pretty similar.
Well, the difference is Kyle Shanahan has gotten so close so many times, and he hasn't been able to get over it.
Okay,
so people did, but again, it's unfair. It's an unfair comparison because he's just been more successful.
Right? Yeah,
right. And now he's being viewed at differently. Speaking of, Kyle Shanahan says not one,
not two,
but 3 Super Bowls the Niners should have so far. He spoke with Tim Kawakami. We'll let you know what he had to say there. Stiles Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sacktown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sacktown Sports app.
Did you know your skin is the largest organ of your body? Huh? That's why you should shower with Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash instead of plain old bar soap. Love your skin by super hydrating it with vitamin B3 and glorious notes of vanilla and shea. Did you know that my super hydrated skin is the second largest organ of my body? The first is my heart. Old Spice. Men have skin too. Old Spice Super Hydration Body Wash. 24/7 renewing moisture. With daily use.
Whether you own a local business or a global one, you're always looking for ways to position your operation to create opportunities and move on them faster. With Bank of America, you get access to experts, award-winning insights, and business solutions so powerful, you'll make every move matter. Locally and globally. Visit bankofamerica.com/banking for business to learn more. What would you like the power to do? Copyright 2024 Bank of America NA.
Michael Dave here for Capital Casino. Sacramento summertime heat is back. And of course, Cap Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room, wants to invite everyone to soak up some air conditioning, still with the most variety of table games in the region. And as always, the best food, best service, and the best action, conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. Capital Casino, of course, reminding everyone to please make sure you gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
If you're looking to move out of your parents' place, you could really cut expenses by bundling your car and renter's insurance with Progressive, which is good because your little brother has gotten really territorial. You're blood related. You'd think it would be fine to share food in the fridge. I mean, who writes their name on every individually wrapped slice of cheese, Tyler? Still, you've got to admire the commitment. So bundle your renter's and car insurance with Progressive and use the savings to help you move out and have all the cheese you want. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company coverage provided and serviced by affiliates and third-party insurers. Not available in all states.
Sorry, but we actually have a wait list for our Monstera.
Shaw's greenhouse is really bringing in the green.
We can't keep snake plants in stock.
She needs a construction manager to build on her roots and grow.
We could add a whole section for ferns. Here we'd have dahlias, and more dahlias.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Hot summer savings now at Maida Chevy with $12,000 off MSRP on every new Silverado half-ton Turbo Max in stock after rebate.
$12,000 off every Silverado LT Turbo Max at Maida Chevy with at least 5 at this price.
Hot summer savings up to $12,000 off MSRP exclusively at Maida Chevy at MaidaChevy.com. Sacramento Silverado headquarters. Together, let's drive.
Not available in special financing, lease, and some other offers. Must trade in 2010 model year or newer and 7/31/24.
Made a great deal at Maida.
Imagine the most beautiful panoramic setting. Endless waves crashing on a beach. Kids playing in the park. Now, right smack in the middle of your perfect picture, imagine just one piece of litter. It doesn't fit, does it? And it simply doesn't belong anywhere. Certainly not in California. Not even one piece. Good news? If we work together, we will change it all. Clean California. Zero litter is the goal. CleanCA.com.
Live and local.
Live and local. This is Sacktown Sports.
Kyle Shanahan thinks the 49ers should have 3 rings. 3 rings by now. Here's a quote. Yeah, I believe that we should have already won 2, Shanahan said. I actually think we should have won 3. Tim Kawakami goes on to say much of the current belief is based on the logical presumption that Purdy, now more than a year removed from his elbow surgery and coming off of an incredible 2023 season, is the best QB of Shanahan's tenure and one of the best he's ever coached. So just that initial thing, Chris, you weren't really coming down Shanahan's road as much as some other people about that quote.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's just kind of him. I mean, I don't know what else he was really supposed to say. Like, you know, he wasn't directly asked, like, you know, hey, you know, it was more just how are you feeling after that loss? Do you kind of let it affect you much, or at this point, do you, you know, do you kind of let it roll off your back? And he kind of was like, you know, yeah, like it rolls off my back a bit. Like I can't dwell on it. It definitely hurts, but yeah, I mean, I think every coach should believe that. I just kind of don't think. I definitely don't think it's true, but I you know, I don't know really what else we expected him to say. I mean, he's been in position to win a lot of those games too. It's just, you know, there's been a couple errors here and there, and you know, in the 3rd Super Bowl, as he calls it, the Brock injury, like that's a freak accident. I think I'm not very confident, or as confident in Kyle that they would have won that game, but I think the bigger point is we never even got to figure it out. So
right,
I'm not super upset by it. Like I think it's much better him believing that and just kind of pushing forward than to dwell on it and just to kind of let it eat at him every day. So I don't really have a problem with it, but of course it's gonna definitely make headlines.
Yeah, I hear you on that one as well. I would say that things can get taken out of context, but at the same time, he's not saying. I'm torn because I'm not trying to, you know, attack Kyle Shanahan in any type of way. He was asked, and that's how he feels. He's not making excuses.
No, definitely
He's
not.
saying in his mind he feels like we should have won.
They played well enough, perhaps.
But the thing for me is, okay, well, you have to admit, and maybe you're doing this behind closed doors, why you didn't win those Super Bowls. It's okay to say, I think we should have won.
Right.
But I think what happens is, and a lot of people get on Niners media because there's only a certain guys and women that will kind of question Kyle Shanahan. A lot of it is, hey, everything is all hunky-dory.
Yeah.
And it's just as if everything is perfect. Everything the Niners do is perfect. They've just had, what is it? Is it bad luck?
Yeah, right.
What is it?
Just hasn't been their night.
It just hasn't been their night.
Yeah.
I saw something, and I'm not going to say who it was from the Bay Area. And they said, I'm not calling it Super Bowl or bust, but as long as the Niners stay healthy, there's no stopping them. As long as the Niners stay healthy at key positions, there's no stopping them. And first of all, I think that's a cop-out because you're saying it's not Super Bowl or bust, but no one can stop them. That's number one. And number two, they basically did that last season and lost.
They 100%.
So what? That last season is the season
you have
where
to stay perfectly healthy.
Right?
Like,
is it? Nobody is perfectly healthy.
Nobody,
the Chiefs weren't perfectly healthy.
No.
None of the teams were perfectly healthy. Yeah. But if the Niners are perfectly healthy, then nobody's going to beat them. All I'm saying is, there just comes to a point where it seems like nobody's admitting anyone's fault. How in the world is Steve Kerr under the hot seat as much as he is from fans when they have 4 championships, but Kyle Shanahan, and there are a lot of fans, and I know TC's been one of the callers that comes out Kyle Shanahan's road, but, and maybe I'm more so talking to the media where Kyle Shanahan, John Lynch, they never make a mistake. Ricky Pearsall, perfect pick. I know we said for months that they need offensive line, but now that they didn't go offensive line, well, they must know. They must know better than us, and nothing ever gets questioned, but the hardware case has dust on it.
Yeah. A lot of NFC championship trophies.
Yeah.
You know,
hang the banner. Hang it.
NFC champions. Yeah, no, I mean, it definitely gets to a point. I totally understand what you're saying because I definitely agree with you. Like there is, and I would probably back you in saying it. It probably is more so media than fans because I do think a lot of fans are very honest when it comes to Kyle. I hear a lot of Niner fans. I mean, my barber tells me all the time. He's been very consistent about not. It's not that they don't think Kyle's great. I mean, I think everybody acknowledges like the offense. This guy's clearly an offensive genius in his, pun intended, light years ahead of a lot of the other NFL coaches, especially in what he runs and how well he gets his teams to execute too. It's one thing to have the mind, but it's another thing to get the guys to actually do it. And Kyle does it, and people are right behind him. All of his players love Kyle Shanahan and never talk the way that, frankly, talking heads do. I don't think but it does feel like there's a lot of Niners media that just kind of massage everything. And like you said, nothing is ever wrong.
Asking about his mustache yesterday.
Exactly, he shaved his mustache specifically so they wouldn't ask him questions about it. I definitely think it's getting to the point where I think you're right. Like we do need to start to see some actual wins here. We need to see them get over the top in order for this to stop kind of being cute. Because I am pretty sick of just all this talk of, we should have this, and if this goes better this way, because that's just not how it works. And frankly, the Niners are a good enough team, and the reason why they're light years better than everybody is because they have the talent to where if you do have a couple injuries, you should be able to overcome it. A lot of teams, the Chiefs, they really have like three pillars in Chris Jones, Kelsey, and Mahomes. If one of those guys gets hurt, then we can have a real conversation about their season being screwed. But it just feels like the Niners have so many great players that it shouldn't matter if a Dre Greenlaw gets hurt because you still have Fred Warner. You still have the defensive line. You still have some pretty decent cornerbacks as well. So it is a little strange to me that narrative doesn't it continues to be played, even though the Niners, it's kind of a champagne like everybody else deals with that problem as well, and they have a lot less fail safes built in.
Well, I would just imagine, and my question would be, I think we only had one Celtics guy on during the season.
Yeah.
But that would be my question, because a lot of people compared the Celtics to the Niners because they've been in the mix.
Hitting their head on the ceiling.
Yes, and they haven't been able to get through. I just feel, and maybe I'm wrong, but I just feel like those Celtics press conferences just went a little bit differently. And during that, Brad Stevens changed positions. They didn't get rid of him, but he changed position. They had, one wasn't because of them, but they had three different coaches during that tenure until they could finally figure it out. And I would imagine that the Boston media
they were tough. I guarantee they were tough.
What happens with the Niners is it comes off like they did already win. That's how they get talked about. Like they did win, or they have this hypothetical Super Bowl, pretty much. And it turns into, oh, well, they're going to get it eventually. They're going to get it, but they don't get checked because they haven't got it yet. They get checked as in, oh, well, we know that they're going to get it. It's just a matter of time. But okay.
Yeah.
You can keep saying that if you want to.
No, I mean, in a way, it's an answer to the age-old question. Like, would you rather have years and years and years of success with no title, or would you rather just kind of stumble into a championship after being mid? Yeah, the Rams. That's a perfect example. And I think from what we're experiencing here with the Niners, I think the answer is clearly a title, because nobody, I mean, the Rams have kind of had some thin years after the title, and I think people still have a pretty good feeling about them as it, like, nobody's really killing them for how they've done that process. And the Niners, I mean, I think there's definitely some people that are happy with it, but ultimately it does feel hollow. It feels empty. It feels like there's still that one thing missing. And clearly, you can win as many games as you want, but if you don't win the only game that apparently matters, clearly it still leaves a hole, and it's not good. Maybe in 10, 15 years, they'll look back and say, yeah, what a fun ride. But even then, I think that they're still going to talk about missing the opportunity if that's how it goes.
I joke about this team when it comes to March, because I said I will never pick this team until they finally get it done. But we cannot treat the San Francisco 49ers like Gonzaga. Okay, you can't treat the 49ers, oh, we're one of the most storied franchises, and we're this, we're that. Cool. But then you can't be happy with NFC championships then. You can't have it both ways. If you're Gonzaga in the WCC, these schools don't even have football teams, and it's really hard to recruit. And Mark Few turned that program into a juggernaut. You'd like to win one, but you're okay with the fact that you are nationally ranked every season. Yeah. You are getting NBA players out there in Washington. That's completely different. So I think the issue is you can't have it both ways. Yep. If you're going to be the big dog, then you got to get the big dog prize. Yeah. You can't be the big dog, but then say, well, we have been successful. We don't this. You can't care about that. Yeah. You cannot. Absolutely. It's not about Final Fours if you're Duke. It's about national championships.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay? It's not about Final Fours if you're North Carolina. Right. It's about national championships. If you're Gonzaga, it would be nice to get one.
Yeah, absolutely.
But
Minnesota Vikings. I'd love to have one for sure. I don't care.
Right.
But the Niners, they have a legacy of winning, and they've been close so many times that it's like, nothing else should matter.
And that's you telling us this. That's Niner fans telling us this.
Absolutely.
Okay, that's Niner media. No, the way they've and Parag and the way we've done all the. Then where is the hardware? Where is it? TC, we'll get to you on the other side. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
And a handoff to McCaffrey, walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey, takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles a man. 10-5. Touchdown! CMC!
You can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football. Sacktown Sports.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go. I didn't think I'd survive. But I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there.
Covenant House helped me break the cycle of homelessness in my family. They gave me the love that I needed.
Over 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed tonight. When youth who are experiencing homelessness have a hot meal, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love, they can overcome heartbreaking challenges and have a brighter future.
They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding. I'm a speaker, I'm an author. Covenant House really helped me and really helped mold me into the woman I am today.
If you or someone you love is asking for help, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
It's better over here. If you're 55 and up, T-Mobile has an exclusive rate plan just for you. Right now, get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for just $30 a line. That's a 45% savings versus Verizon and AT&T. Plus, you can get one of the latest 5G phones free when you add a line. That's right, a free 5G phone. Experience all this and more on America's largest 5G network. So why wait? At T-Mobile, customers 55 and up can get 2 lines of talk, text, and data for only $30 a line. Just go to T-Mobile.com/choice55 or visit your local store to make the switch.
With AutoPay using debit or bank account plus taxes and fees, 45% off 2 lines versus AT&T Starter and Verizon Welcome. Plan benefits vary. Free phones up to $300 off with 24 monthly bill credits and qualifying new line for well-qualified customers plus tax and $35 device connection charge. Contact us before canceling entire account to continue remaining bill credits. Bill credits end if you pay off device early. See details at T-Mobile.com.
Hey, what are you doing up on the step stool?
About to clean these light fixtures. The whole family's coming over. And if there's even a speck of dust in the house, my abuela will find it.
Here, I got a Swiffer duster to help with that.
A Swiffer what?
A Swiffer duster. It has this cool extendable handle that reaches 6 feet to get high and low, with fluffy dusters that easily trap and lock dust.
So no more step stool?
No more step stool.
Easily trap and lock dust from hard-to-reach places with the Swiffer duster. Love it or your money back.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Grainger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Bonneville International Radio Station contests are open to participants at least 18 years of age and older that are residents of California and who reside in one of the 6 counties that make up the Sacramento metro area, unless otherwise specified. Employees or agents of the station, Bonneville International Corporation, other area radio stations, or any entity associated with the contest are not eligible to win, unless the station otherwise specifies in its own discretion. Persons who have won in the last 30 days from a station contest or event may not be eligible. For a copy of the general contest rules, visit khdk.com.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Woodland. Chad, what you doing for Chrysler's Make This the Summer sales event?
Well, this month we have something special that only happens once a year. Big savings on one of America's most capable minivans. Right now you can save up to $17,000 off MSRP on all remaining 23 Chrysler Pacifica hybrids, and that's on all trims.
Now, you said Chrysler Pacifica hybrids. Those things get 82 miles per gallon E with gas prices so high and $17,000 off MSRP. That's a no-brainer.
And a deal like this only happens once a year, so this is the time to take advantage of this savings at the dealelership and at the pump.
The savings won't last long. Stop by Hoblet Dodge for a test drive today or search, select, and save through their whole inventory at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
$17,000 total net savings after $7,500 factory rebates and $9,500 dealer discounts. Rebates include $7,500 federal EV tax credit offered by a third party and subject to change. Consult a tax professional for details and eligibility. 82 MPGE combined city highway rating based on fueleconomy.gov EPA rating. Send this net savings while supplies last. See dealer for details.
Sacktown Sports. Check us out on YouTube. Search Sacktown Sports and subscribe.
About to get into some Timmy talk, some Drew Timmy talk, and we have some updates on some free agents for the Sacramento Kings. But first, let's get to TC. Wants to be a part of the conversation. What's up, TC? What you got for us?
Yes, sir, man. What's up, Alan? Chris, what's going on?
Oh, man, you know, just relaxing over here.
Hey, vibing. Hey, listen, you know this is my wheelhouse, man, with Kyle Shanahan Niners. Hey, shout out to y'all. I heard y'all earlier, man. Hey, y'all know how I feel about the situation. They got to get it done. Listen, bro, I'm a diehard Niner fan, but I'm a real Niner fan. I'm not caught up in the whole faithful BS and the whole, we got to love, no, bro. This dude is not it, dog. I'm tired of the whole, we got a quest for 6. We getting it. We won. We act like we won rings already. I don't care about the Tom Brady. I don't care about none of that. I'm talking about Kyle Shanahan. I do not believe this guy will get this team over the hump. No matter how you look at it, bro, he will not get out of his way. He won't instill of his quarterback. Even yesterday, talking about Brock, he can't even bump up Brock. He's talking about, we don't know how he's going to come back. Even this year, he got a full off season. We don't know how it's going to go, bro. You still can't back up your quarterback.
Yep.
This guy came in and showed you, bro. You still can't build up your quarterback. You want all the credit for yourself. Listen, dude, I'm over Kyle, dog. I've been over that dude, and I'm really over John Lynch at the same time. I don't care about NFC championship games. I don't care about none of that, dog. This dude is not it. The media, I ain't even going to name drop, bro, because I don't know if that gets you. Listen, y'all know what I'm talking about. I heard you, Alan. The Niner media with these softball questions, kissing Kyle's booty. I'm not with none of that, bro. I'm going to keep it real before anything, dog. And I'm a diehard Niner fan, but I'm going to keep it 100 at the same time. Kyle Shanahan is not it, bro. That's all I got, man.
Thanks for the call, TC.
Straight from the horse's mouth.
There you go. Well, I'm not saying Kyle Shanahan shouldn't be the coach. I'm not putting him on the hot seat. I'm just saying we can't talk about him. We didn't talk about Andy Reid like this. I'm sure Philadelphia media did not treat Andy Reid the way that Kyle Shanahan is being treated. Yeah. So that's all I'm saying. Yeah. That's all I'm saying, man.
Yeah, no, definitely. I mean, I think that at some point, and I know they do ask the questions. It's not a matter of if, they ask hey, I remember last year, as a matter of fact, Trent Williams had the answer. They asked him hey, do you believe that, I think they asked something about their Super Bowl window, or do you feel like it's closing? They ask the questions, but it does feel like in general, everything, like you said, I think it's more just so everything that is done is given with the benefit of the doubt. And it doesn't feel like there's much, there's a lot of criticism going on. And I agree with you. I think it's a really, I also do want to be a little bit sympathetic to the media because I know no one wants to hear that, but I think it is a little bit of a tough thing to cover because they are successful. And 30 out of 30 NFL teams will gladly take the success that the Niners have had over the past 5-10 years, but it's just you're missing the big one. And so how do you cover? How do you properly give the right amount of credit, but also question when you do everything leading up to the point you get to where you're supposed to go? You just can't get over the top. Like it's got to be tough because again, like you're putting yourself in a situation where everybody would dream to be in the NFC Championship 3 years in a row. But if you have no Super Bowls to show for it, that clearly is also telling you so. So it's just a really tough balance that I could understand why it is tough to, because if you are going to be critical, then immediately it should get thrown back at you. You know, like, I mean, I feel comfortable throwing, like Grant Cohn obviously is somebody who's been a little bit more towards the criticism side of things, and people will throw back, well, hey, let's not act like these guys are bums. They're not the Raiders out here barely, you know, making 500 every year. But at the same time, you can't have the other side of things where, you know, we're open about it. Like you have the David Lombardis of the world who do tend to lean a little bit more positive, and you can't have that when, hey, not like you're saying, not everything is sunshine and rainbows.
Right.
Some things do need to be questioned, and I think it's just a really, really tough situation, and I can't imagine how Niner fans must feel because they must be internally dealing with that as well with, hey, I love Kyle Shanahan and the success he's brought this franchise. We saw what Chip Kelly looked like. We saw what other coaches have looked like. They haven't brought this level of success, but at the same time, like you put in the last segment, they're not here for consolation trophies. They're here to win the dang thing and finally get their next Super Bowl and hopefully rattle off a couple more. So it's really one of the most unique situations I can remember, at least in my lifetime. I can definitely say in sports where you do everything right, everything you would need to do. You just don't get that one game taken care of. And especially in football, you don't get the luxury of a 7-game series where you can say, look, that team was just a better team than us. It is a little bit of an element of, yeah, things just didn't go our way that day, or yeah, we had some bad injury luck or things like that. Random things can completely take a Super Bowl away from you. So it's just a really, really tough situation to try and balance.
Katie Vieira on the SAG chat, shout out Katie Vieira, says Philadelphia media and San Francisco media are entirely different things.
Completely.
Philly media are way more antagonistic. It's not something you can compare. But why can't we compare it though?
Right.
Why can't we compare it though?
I mean, I think
I understand that it's
naturally
different.
They're more aggressive, but when we get to the point that we're at now,
Philly media.
No, you're not.
I'm just saying
that's a tough comparison that you made. I think Philly media is a very unique. Philly and New York, right, are the two most brutal ones. So I don't know if you would have said.
But let's keep going then.
Like it.
I'm just saying those two are unique.
No. But no. Okay, so is it any different than Boston?
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Hey, Chicago.
Boston probably also fits into.
So
that.
it's just
Chicago
every big city.
Yeah.
Man, I would say San Francisco is a big city.
I would say so too.
But I would also say that they probably just don't have the sports culture that those other places have. Like the East Coast in general is a little bit more crazy about their sports than us here on the West Coast. You know, we got the beach. That's always been the narrative.
Should Kings media be more like attack the Kings in more?
That's what fans tell us.
Every day. Every day fans tell us that.
Yeah, I get. I don't know.
I think all Alan was saying was just be more like Philly.
Yeah,
I don't think you were saying be Philly.
Yeah.
You were just saying channel something.
I'm saying
I just think there was no clarity. There needs to be clarity on the statement.
I'm saying when you see the back and forth between Niners media, if you came from Mars right now and you saw how Niners media treats Kyle Shanahan, you think he won the 3 Super Bowls. You would think he won the 3 Super Bowls. You say, oh man, this guy's got it pretty made. They're asking about his mustache and this and that, blah, blah, blah. How many Super Bowls he won? Oh,
sure.
You know what? And whatever Martian language they're speaking. Yeah. That's all I'm saying.
Okay, that's fair. I guess the counter is like he's been there for a while and they know him. Maybe they feel like there's a comfortability there. with him.
I don't think your job is to be comfortable.
Yeah, I don't think so either. I think that is fair.
I saw something
That's
yesterday.
a huge problem.
I saw something yesterday on social media. It says Niners media acts like they want to take Kyle Shanahan out to lunch.
They sure do.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I think people say that about Kings media too.
Probably.
I do.
Well, this is only my first year.
You
Buckle
gotta
up.
be careful on these airwaves. You know
why?
You never know.
No, we can.
So like Kings media. I don't know. It's
We
just-
are Kings media. I'll ask the question.
Yeah, we are Kings
Get him
media.
on.
Yeah.
I'll ask the questions.
Yeah, we've asked Brendan. We asked Matt George.
I'll ask
you know?
Niners. I'll ask Niners media too. I
Yeah.
do not care.
Yeah.
Okay.
I do not care.
Yeah, we've asked
I'm just
them all.
I'm just curious. Is there no one? Well, there's one. We know there's one.
Yeah, there's one, and I mean,
and he's almost treated like a leper.
Yeah, but I think he takes it to extremes for entertainment purposes too.
For sure.
Right. And I think that's part of it. So I think a lot of people see that and go, oh, his opinion doesn't matter.
Yeah.
You know, I that's what I think.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that. I just think that's how other people see him.
Yeah.
I don't
Because
follow him.
They don't
that
think
closely.
I think it's getting to the point where they don't know whether it's authentic or not.
Right.
Yes, exactly.
And I personally think it's both.
Yeah.
I think it is. I think he adds a little bit of extra.
Sure. I think
extra garlic butter on it.
Yeah, it might
You
be a
know what
little
I mean?
more than extra. Yeah, because it does numbers. It does well. He's very well known.
And I would say
Nate,
it needs to be said because I think there is a portion of the fan base that does feel that way. though.
Yeah.
I think that if you do look
Clearly.
though
Yeah.
at, and I'm not trying to get into a whole numbers thing, shilling for the Niners actually gets you farther than being the antagonist.
Yeah, because the Niners like it.
Yeah.
The Niners like it. They want you to shill for them, right?
Yeah.
And they're the big organization.
But that's what I'm saying.
They
When you
want to
say
push
this
you.
person is doing it for numbers, it actually would be better for him to just hop on the train with everybody else. That's
Well,
all I'm
I guess
saying.
there needs to be a villain too.
Yeah.
Quote unquote. You know, like that's an untapped market, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I
so
agree.
He'd be jumping into a pool, not even him specifically, just any sort of Niners meeting. You're jumping into a pool of what everyone else is doing, taking that left turn and being like, all right, I'm gonna see what goes here. And it's just working. It works. So
yeah.
And that's like not a shot on anyone. I'm not trying to do that. It's just analyzing the way people analyze a team. And you know, it's their livelihood. So
Yeah, all I'm saying to wrap this thing up, all I'm saying is that I'm not in those conversations. We can talk to our Sacktown Sports 49ers insider Emil Fergoso. I'm not in those conversations. I've been to a couple games, but I'm not going to roll up and just say, I know you don't know who I am. You know what I mean? But it's a level of you heard what, and we're kind of burying the lead here where Kyle Shanahan, Grant Cohn asked Kyle Shanahan
Yesterday,
about Brandon Aiyuk and how that relationship would essentially be if he came back. And Kyle Shanahan said, knowing you, I'm not sure. I'm not sure I actually said that. Everybody starts laughing.
Yeah.
Kyle Shanahan is the funniest guy ever. And now Grant got owned. I know. We got to go. Coming up next, we get into some Drew Timmy talk and the Kings free agency. Stiles Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Subscribe to Sacktown Sports on YouTube and watch the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Live Monday through Friday from 6 to 6. Plus view archive shows and exclusive content.
Subscribe at youtube.com/Sacktown Sports.
Summer is finally here, and so are all the best deals on DeWalt power tools at Fasteners Inc. Tool Outlet in Sacramento. Drills, impacts, circular saws, you name it, we have it for the best price in town, guaranteed. Whether you're a weekend warrior or a seasoned tradesman, we've got all the DeWalt products you need to crush your next project. So come on down to Fasteners Inc. Tool Outlet today on Power and Road for better tools and better prices. For more info, visit fastenersinc.net. Sacramento, Dirks Bentley is coming to town. Saturday, September 28th at Hart Health Park at Cal Expo for Country in the Park 2. And he's bringing some friends. Harmony, Tyler Rich, Dasha, Kelsey Hart, and more. Saturday, September 28th at Hart Health Park at Cal Expo. Get your tickets today before they're sold out at CITPFest.com. Brought to you by McKee Brothers Plumbing and Hooter Incorporated and Dawson Oil Company.
Grab the keys to a new fuel-efficient Toyota. Let's go! Hit the open California road this summer with incredible MPG and peace of mind. With fewer fill-ups, you can explore further and make the most of those long summer days. Choose from Toyota's 16 hybrid and electrified models, more than any other brand, and go the distance with Toyota's class-leading fuel efficiency and reliability. It's time to make this summer one to remember. Toyota, let's go places.
If you've been on the American River, it's uphill, it's downhill. There's trails everywhere that you can walk, and it just makes you happy. And I couldn't walk, and it was terrible. I was turning into a real crab. I went to the Good Feet store, and I tried on the arch supports. I could not believe that I was not in pain. I can walk, I can run, I can jump, I can do anything. My name's Terry, and that's my Good Feet story.
The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, and Vacaville. If you're looking to move out of your parents' place, you could really cut expenses by bundling your car and renter's insurance with Progressive, which is good because your little brother has gotten really territorial. You're blood related. You'd think it would be fine to share food in the fridge. I mean, who writes their name on every individually wrapped slice of cheese, Tyler? Still, you've got to admire the commitment. So bundle your renter's and car insurance with Progressive and use the savings to help you move out and have all the cheese you want. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company coverage provided and serviced by affiliates and third-party insurers. Not available in all states.
Sorry, but we actually have a wait list for our Monstera.
Shaw's greenhouse is really bringing in the green.
We can't keep snake plants in stock.
She needs a construction manager to build on her roots and grow.
We could add a whole section for ferns. Here we'd have dahlias, dahlias, and more dahlias.
Indeed can help her hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave for American Energy Heating and Air with a question. Have you recently had a technician diagnose your HVAC system and you were a bit surprised at how much it cost? Or did something seem off about their quote? Because at American Energy, they take pride in giving you honest, straightforward solutions to get that system up and running. Have their qualified technicians come out and give you a free second opinion. It's free. You got nothing to lose but some dollars off of that original quote. They're making the uncomfortable comfortable. They've been doing it since 1981, serving the greater Sacramento area. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. That's why they keep having customers coming back for more and more and more. You can call them and set that appointment at 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Unleash your backyard's potential with Premier Pools and Spas. As the region's top pool builder, no challenge is too difficult for us. Let us create the perfect pool for your home and your budget. Call or search Premier Pools and Spas and get started today. CSRP number 589234.
KHTKAM HD1 Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios.
This is Sacktown Sports.
Sacktown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
Definitely a Wasabi Wednesday today. We're still blaming Jason Ross. I'm kidding, Jason. You're the best. Glad to have you back.
Jason being accused of riling people up.
That is not even a real thing. As we get into some Kings talk here, we're going to leave the Niners alone for now, but have some more on Brandon Aiyuk a little bit later in the show. But wanted to get into this Drew Timmy situation. Drew Timmy was on with the Drive Guys. He was supposed to be on with us, but he was on with the Drive Guys, and great stuff from the Drive Guys, of course, as Drew Timmy lets the world know that his agency is still talking with Sacramento.
Hey, Drew, Kyle Draper here, man. Hey, how would you characterize your summer league experience with the Kings?
I thought it was great, man. I love the system that they play in. I feel like it's really good for a player like myself. And then obviously being with the coaching staff and Coach DC, a fellow WCC guy, man, that was pretty cool. And then getting to play with some of the guys, especially that were on their team and stuff. It was great. I thought it was a lot of fun. I had a great time.
Drew Timmy is with us. And Drew, if you have already addressed this, I apologize. If you did, I didn't see it. But one of the first things I wondered when I saw you playing this year was, hey, where's the headband? So where's the Drew Timmy headband? What happened?
The headband is something that is sacred and special to me, and I feel like I got to earn the right to wear it.
Wow.
So coming back from injury, you gotta prove yourself before you can wear it. So I feel like I have earned the right to wear it after summer league. So it'll come back after then.
Nice. Yeah. Okay. All right. I appreciate that, Drew. Drew averaged better than 11 points per game in summer league. Drew, your birthday's coming up September 9th. That's the same birthday as my mother. She's a little bit older than you, but you're clearly my guy, and she listens to the show, so she'll be excited to hear that. What's next for you in terms of the Kings, and was it just a summer league deal? Where do things stand at right now?
Well, what a great day your mother was born on.
Exactly, right? This date in history, September 9th, man.
Yeah. But with the Kings and stuff, I loved my time there. I loved the coaches and teammates and everything. And I would love for it to work out. I know my agency and the Kings obviously have been in talks. So we'll see what happens between those two groups. But I enjoyed my time there. And if it works out, I'd love to be back.
Nice to hear from LeBron in that.
That's right.
That clip.
LeBron and Drew Timmy.
Yeah, together.
No, you need it.
That's right. Drew, Timmy, Chris. Seems like something might happen, but I know in the initial post from Sacktown Sports, we kind of mentioned that there are the two open roster spots. By the way, Chimezie Metu is going overseas. So
playing for Barcelona.
Yeah, those two roster spots are open, Chris. But what do you think the Kings are going to do with those two spots?
I have absolutely no idea. I don't think Drew Timmy's going to get one of them. I don't think he's necessarily somebody who I would be giving a two-way contract to. I would be perfectly fine with a G League contract, and if he plays well enough, you can definitely sign him. But I would hope that they use those on some veteran guys, like some guys that we actually, whether it be them playing or like we've talked about in the past, definitely more leadership guys who have been there, done that. I'm thinking Jay Crowders of the world, those kind of guys who might not be able to give you a ton of games, but have definitely been in a lot of different winning situations. Obviously this team could use some forward depth, maybe some center depth as well. I would guess that that's probably where it goes. But yeah, more specifically, if it's relating to Drew Timmy, I don't necessarily think a two-way contract would be a good use for him, just because for me, it's built in there, but the point of the two-way contract is having some sort of hope that guy can impact things on the big club. And I'm personally just not there with Timmy. Like I said, I would be totally fine with him signing a G League contract, but I think if you're signing somebody to a two-way deal, I would ideally like that to be somebody who I actually feel like has some potential as a pro. And I just feel like Drew Timmy is who he is, and he is a really fun, really gritty player who definitely can do some things. But if we're talking about his pro potential, I'm not really seeing much beyond just kind of garbage time minutes, and maybe he can figure out a small kind of garbage time role. I just don't see him being a rotational big man at any point for any team.
Yeah, I'm looking here at who's left at this point, and it's kind of the same names that we've recycled. I mean, the names that do stick out, I know we were talking about Isaac Okoro before the show. He's restricted.
Yeah.
So, I mean, could you just go low on him and see, hey, Cavs, are you do you want him? Or, you know what I mean? What's the deal there? Because the Cavs could obviously match. We've talked about Precious Achiuwa. One name that's a bit interesting, Chris. This guy has made a lot of money in his career. His career earnings, this guy, Chris. $239 million for one. And I say all that to say
Russell Westbrook.
I say all that to say, hey, I'm not pocket watching, but maybe he'd be willing to just kind of vibe Gordon Hayward.
Yeah, I'd be willing to kick the tires on Gordon Hayward, because if it works, it's a great asset. But I think the fear is that, last season he got traded to OKC with those same hopes that he would be somebody that's an under the radar trade that they made at the deadline. And I'm pretty sure, Sam Presti literally came out and said, yeah, that was my bad.
Yeah,
that was my bad.
That was a miss. That one was a miss.
For the Kings, it would be very, very low risk. I wouldn't have a massive problem with it, because even if he gives you 40 games, I think as long as you're not really planning for him to be like, as long as you're not assuming that he's going to be playing 80 games or anything like that, if you're hoping that you can just get a good stretch of games from him. And if he's healthy in the postseason, that's the cherry on top that you weren't expecting. I'm totally fine with that. I think that would actually be probably one of the better signings that they could still make. But again, you would just have to have the understanding that he's probably not going to play a lot of actual games for you, just not because he's not good enough anymore, but just because he might not be good enough anymore. I guess we don't know because we just haven't seen him a lot in the past couple of years because of his injuries.
Yeah. And I look at that as a situation where it could be mutually beneficial.
Yeah, for sure.
He definitely wanted, we'll say though, he definitely wanted to play more. So
yeah,
don't really know where Gordon Hayward is in his, I guess, not his reality, but what he thinks he can bring to the table at this point. The last thing we want is to bring somebody in and then he's sitting there, not pouting on the sideline, but not, not happy about
we don't need another Sasha situation.
You definitely don't.
That's kind of what it is.
You definitely don't. Yeah, some of the other names, it's the same names that we've said kind of throughout this process. And it's really hard to, keep up with everything. But really not so much because nothing has been happening.
Nothing's happening.
I really like that Jay Crowder call. Yeah, I really like that Jay Crowder call. Obviously, he's just kind of chilling at this point in time. And, he does give you some of that grittiness. And he can still hit the 3 ball if you leave him. So I'd be interested there. And, of course, Marcus Morris.
Yeah.
Marcus Morris available as well. So some of the same names going around the free agency carousel as there's still been a freeze. Daniel House, Chris.
Yeah, Daniel House is a fun player. He can maybe be – the problem with Daniel House is they just have so many guards at this point. I don't really know where he would fit in. I'm looking at the
calling
names
him a small forward.
How about like a Doug McDermott? Does that intrigue you? I know he has a really good relationship with Domantas Sabonis from their time in Indiana. I also think I remember Kevin Huerter saying he reached out to Doug McDermott when he was traded to Sacramento to ask Doug how playing with Sabonis was, and Doug was just like, "You're gonna love it. You're gonna get so many open looks." So clearly there's a previous relationship there with Sabonis and with Kevin Huerter. I've been kind of saying for a couple of years now that I thought Doug McDermott was going to be a king at some point. I think the fact he hasn't signed yet probably doesn't make me feel great about that, just because I thought it made all the sense in the world to kind of prioritize that. But still wouldn't surprise me, like you said, with 2 open roster spots. I think you can do it a lot worse than Doug McDermott, who's always been a 40% three-point shooter. And again, it's just about expectation, really, with those last 2 roster spots. I think you can't really fully expect, especially at this point in the offseason, you're going to be signing somebody that's actually going to be, impacting wins and losses here. At this point, you're just kind of adding to depth and, hoping you can maybe add something to your locker room as well. And I do think Gordon Hayward is just a really good shout for that. We just don't know really where Gordon is at. That's probably more on him and where he thinks he's at in his career at this point. But he can definitely do a whole lot worse than playing with this Kings team. He was suffering out there in Charlotte, just kind of wasting away for a couple of years there. So I'm sure he would be really intrigued to be offered some form of a role for an actual winning team.
Yeah. Coming up next, Brett Siegel breaks down what almost happened on draft night and what the Kings should do next. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
The only place you'll find Kevin Huerter is Sacktown Sports.
Huerter's open, steps into 3. He's got the triple.
Hey, Sacramento, it's Kevin Huerter, and you're listening to the home of the Sacramento Kings, Sacktown Sports.
Your local sports leader.
I'm Ken Korak with your Green and Gold Report, brought to you by Xfinity Mobile. Connect to the most reliable 5G network nationwide. Well, the A's first pick in this year's draft is Wake Forest first baseman Nick Kurtz. Now, Kurtz, a 6'5" left-handed hitter, has drawn comparisons to Matt Olson and maybe even Hall of Famer Jim Thome. And even though the A's had the 4th pick in the draft, A's scouting director Eric Kubota said that Kurtz was the first pick on their board.
Want to save on some of the biggest names in streaming on the network made for streaming? Now through September 21st, get 150 megabit Xfinity internet for 12 months with a 1-year contract. And for just $15 a month, add the new Stream Saver. That includes Peacock, Apple TV Plus, and Netflix for just $35 a month. Switch at Xfinity.com today. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and autopay to store bank account. Equipment, taxes, and fees extra. After promo, regular internet rates apply. Currently $54 a month. Actual speeds vary. Stream Saver requires Xfinity internet or TV and price subject to change.
Live and local. Live and local.
This is Sacktown Sports.
So, Chris, is this from the Brett Siegel article that he wrote while he was stuck in Vegas, or a different article?
It definitely could have been. This article came out on the 22nd, which would have been – no, he was probably back by then. I think he got stuck on Friday, and this was written this past Monday. So I believe this is when he had already touched ground.
Hold on, Chris. Hold on. 2 minutes ago, I don't know if this is a Woj bomb, maybe a Woj grenade. Free agent
When
center.
it breaks,
We have it first.
Free agent.
Sacktown Sports breaking news.
Free agent center Orlando Robinson has agreed on a 1-year deal with the Sacramento Kings, sources tell ESPN.
Drop top, raindrop.
Yeah, I mean, Orlando's been a name that he's been on the Miami Heat, so I think that's definitely a good sign if you're somebody who, wholly believes in Heat culture. And this is a young depth center, hasn't really gotten a lot of NBA time so far. He's averaged throughout his career 2 seasons in Miami, 3.2 points per game, 3.1 rebounds per game. Hasn't displayed much shot blocking, only 0.4 blocks. His rookie season, 0.2. This past season, he is a legit 7-footer. He went to Fresno State, so some local-ish ties, I guess you could say. Is just kind of somebody who's been looking to get a foothold in the league, and I think it's a really good developmental player to take here for Sacramento. He spent his entire career with the Miami Heat, so he's got some good foundation in terms of work ethic, and you do have to, Miami is very rigid with their conditioning and making sure all of their guys kind of are in shape their entire time in Miami. So you definitely know he's well disciplined. And I think that it's a good risk, I think, for the Kings to take with a young center, legit 7-footer. And I think he does have some rim protection potential there. Just hasn't really been able to display it much. So I think this is a really good signing for them. Obviously not something that's going to be a big mover and shaker, but we'll definitely, I think, see some Orlando Robinson throughout the year. It's just, I think it's just a bet on a young player. So it's a dice roll.
So, is this a situation where G League, or you're just saying he won't play much, or anything is possible?
Yeah, I mean, I would just guess that anything's possible. I would assume he's definitely played some time in the G League, but in terms of NBA, his rookie season, 31 games played, 1 game started. Last season with Miami, 36 games played, 7 games in which he actually started. Let me see his game logs last year. Let me see if he had any significant performance. He did have a 16-point game last season against Indiana. He also had a 15-12 game with 4 assists as well. This is actually the biggest number that I'm looking at that's jumping off the page here. Last season, again, hasn't really played many minutes, but in games in which he played more than, let's see here. He played 22 minutes, got 2 assists, 12 minutes, 2 assists, 27 minutes, 2 assists, 19 minutes, 3 assists, 29 minutes, 3 assists, 33 minutes, 4 assists, 26 minutes, 7 assists in 1 game. Clearly has a bit of playmaking in his bag, and it wouldn't surprise me if that's the thing that Monty McNair and crew kind of saw in him, is that he does bring a little bit of that Domas action into his game, and he definitely is a really good rebounder as well. A couple multi-offensive rebound games. He had 8 games in which he had more than 1 offensive rebound. So definitely is somebody who's going to hit the glass, and if he can move the ball like how his numbers might say he can, definitely could be a sneaky addition for the Kings to kind of seamlessly continue to run their offense a little bit. I'm not saying Orlando Robinson's going to get that Domas role, but I think they clearly like to have these big men that can move the ball a bit, and I think that's a really good young player for this team to kind of take a little bit of a dice roll on.
Well, when you get upset or whatever you want to call it with the Kings when they continue to add guards, let's give them their just due and say, hey, they went out and got a big man, right? And they added some length here. I'm checking out some of these highlights right now. Chris, obviously it's G League, but do like what I see so far. And like
I assume a rim runner. I would guess somebody who's getting a lot of lobs.
Rim runner, a little bit of a midi as well. So yeah, I mean, I think that there's probably something there, and we're about to find out how much is there.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I think it's a good bet too, because yeah, like I just said too, the Kings definitely need a little bit of some center depth and some forward depth for sure. This is definitely going to be somebody who's Alex Len is 100% ahead of him on the depth chart, I would imagine, going into the season, just with his experience and everything he brings. But Orlando is another really big body, and I think maybe you have to start to think about, not that Orlando is the answer to this, but again, with him bringing some Sabonis features with, and maybe I'm reading way too much into his assist numbers there, but you just don't really see big men get those. I mean, Harrison Barnes would go multiple games, not to just send a straight HB, but more just to point out, you don't have to get assists. That doesn't just come with minutes. You can definitely have a big man who's getting 1 assist, if not 0 assists. So the fact that he's got some or multiple games of having multiple, to me, tells me he's got it in his bag quite a bit. So you got to maybe think, hey, what if Sabonis doesn't play 82 games? You know, Alex Len presumably starts. Orlando Robinson could get some of the time at backup center. So I definitely think this is a good thought process, but I will say probably not a great look for our guy, Drew Timmy.
That's a great point. That is a great point. What was his 3-point numbers, Chris? I just saw him hit a 3, and I just saw him hit another 3.
In the pros, it wasn't anything crazy that I saw.
If he's wide open.
I mean, yeah, he shot 50. Well, I mean, yeah, he shot 53% on 0.4 attempts per game. So not really much of any sample size there in the pros, but definitely might have been. I can look up his G League numbers real quick, but yeah, no, I mean, I wouldn't suspect that it's a massive part of his game, especially if he hasn't been doing it in the pros. And maybe if it's just in the G League, that could just, that's for development. So maybe he's a little bit more willing to let that thing go from 3. Let's see here as we look at his splits. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of a tale of two seasons. His first season in the G League, he took 2 threes a game. He shot it at 16%. Last season in the G League, took 1.8 threes and shot it at 37%. So it's clearly something that he's trying to work on. I'd imagine it's something he was told quite frequently in his as a prospect getting into the league. I will say, really bad free throw shooter, 64% in the G League. His first season on 4.2 attempts, second season 4.2 attempts, also shot 63%. So that's not a great sign for his development from beyond the arc. I will say, though, some of these G League numbers, and definitely take it with a grain of salt because it's G League, but some of these G League numbers, Alan, are insane. Yeah. Only played 9 games down there in the G League, but in those 9 games, 24 points per game, shot 57%. As I mentioned, 37% from 3, 11.7 rebounds per game, with 5 of those being offensive rebounds. 5 offensive rebounds per game he averaged through a 9-game stretch in the G League. 2 assists per game, 3.3 turnovers, a little concerning, 1.3 steals, and 2.1 blocks at the G League level, 8 double-doubles in 9 games, again, in the G League so far, 23 points per game, 12.3 rebounds. So definitely somebody who is cooked at the G League level and looking to kind of find a little bit of footing at the pros. So definitely a great, if he is going to play some games for Stockton, is going to be a really good addition down there. But of course, we have our eyes focused on the Sacramento club, and that part is still, I think, a bit of a question in terms of what his role is going to be with this team.
Coming up next, we get back into the Brett Siegel piece and what the Kings offered for Kyle Kuzma, but Kings get their guy. They get a little bit bigger. Got to be happy about that. We'll discuss. Stiles Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Trying to find out where to catch your favorite team's games?
Are you a fan of the Kings, Niners, and the NFL? Well, Sacktown Sports has you covered.
Touchdown! San Francisco! It's all on his shoulders. Rocks. He fires for the win. He's got the triple.
Catch all your Kings, Niners, and NFL games all year long on Sacktown Sports and SacktownSports.com.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Folsom Lake Kia.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. For the afternoon, it's going to be hot again, but not as hot as where we've been earlier in the week. Plan for daytime highs 103 to 105. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
Coach Doug Christie here to remind you, if you're in the market for a new car, shop Folsom Lake Kia. Low interest rates, low payments, and zero down deals with approval of credit. Folsom Lake Kia, over 25 years, right here in Folsom.
Some people just know safe drivers save more with Allstate. Just like they know that's the mating call of a blue-footed booby and not a green-footed booby. Yeah, some people know that. And they know if you're a safe driver, you can save up to 40% with Allstate. Ain't that something?
Based on the national average premium savings for Allstate customers with a clean driving record versus those without. Savings vary by state and based on how you buy. Allstate Fire and Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates, Northbrook, Illinois.
This is it. Shop the Lowe's Closeout event to get up to 70% off select major appliances for your home. Plus, get up to 60% off select patio furniture and accessories for your outdoor spaces. So hurry into your local store today because these deals are too good to last. Shop them now before they're gone because Lowe's knows savings. Lowe's knows home improvement. Valid through 8/7 while supplies last. Selection varies by location.
Only one radio program captures the excitement of hunting and fishing as it happens. The award-winning California Sportsman with Sep Hendrickson. Only California Sportsman takes you where the action is. Live on the water, live in the blind, and live with the top pros and experts in outdoor sports. California Sportsman with Fishing Hall of Famer Sep Hendrickson is your premier destination for all things outdoors. Sep's Saturday Morning Outdoors. Ultimate Bass and California Sportsman, 5 a.m. to 8 a.m. Saturdays on Sacktown Sports 1140.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's Kyle Draper from Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. About 6 months ago, I got my new Mercedes-Benz EQS SUV, and it's the best car driving experience I've ever had. And I'm here to tell you Mercedes-Benz of Stockton not only has cars and SUVs, they also have Sprinter vans. That's right. So if you're a company looking for a new fleet of vehicles, check out my friends at Mercedes-Benz of Stockton. And Mercedes-Benz Sprinter vans will haul anything you put in them, and your crew members will love driving them. So head on down to Mercedes-Benz of Stockton right now. They have special rates starting at 4.9% APR and an $8,000 discount on over 30 vans in stock. Mercedes-Benz Sprinter vans. They are ready to customize for any use. So head on down to Mercedes-Benz of Stockton today, just a short drive down I-5 or anytime at mbofstockton.com. That's mbofstockton.com. Tell them your boy Drape sent you.
Sacktown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
As we were saying before that news broke, Orlando Robinson agreeing to a one-year deal with the Sacramento Kings. The big man from the Miami Heat agreeing with the Sacramento Kings. We were getting into this Brett Siegel conversation. Real quick, Chris, got this text from Emil Fergoso, our Sacktown Sports 49ers insider. Brandon Aiyuk not practicing, but was watching off to the side in a T-shirt and shorts, left after a few minutes and walked right past media. Also, no Trent Williams. Emil is not sure why there was no Trent Williams.
Interesting. Huh.
Yes.
I think I saw that. I don't know if it's confirmed. Emil would definitely be the one to ask, but I think the reports that I were seeing on Twitter is that Brandon Aiyuk walked straight into the 49ers HQ offices. So,
okay.
Could he potentially be trying to get a deal done?
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting. Yeah, there's just I see it right now. There's a video circulating on Twitter right now of just Brandon Aiyuk in a white tee and some basketball shorts, and he's got that gallon jug of water that's just synonymous with every football player you've ever seen in high school. And literally, I think I can see Emil. I'm seeing him walking past Sean Cunningham right now, and he walks straight into the building. So definitely wonder if there's some active negotiations going on even right now.
So there you go.
That's why he's there, right? That's why he's doing the hold in, right?
Exactly.
Not a hold out.
Exactly. So we'll see what happens there and keep you up to date. But getting back to this Brett Siegel piece on Kyle Kuzma.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's get into it. This is from a friend of the show, like you said, Brett Siegel, in his What Did I Learn from Summer League article. Starts it, of course, with the cliche, what happens in Vegas stays in Vegas. And then goes on to release all that he heard, all the whispers. We asked Brendan right after he landed, what did you hear? Because I know that all the media members talk, and especially, at these higher levels, a lot of secrets and a lot of that would have been nice to know a couple months ago tends to come out, and definitely more so on the Kings front. A lot of stuff, of course, has came out about the Kings' interests over this offseason, as they have been rumored with just about everybody. If you have any questions on really any of your favorite teams or anything like that, definitely go check out the article, because there's probably something in there about a player you're interested in or a team that you're interested in. This is what Brett had to say about the Kings' interest in one Kyle Kuzma in the 13th pick in the draft. He writes, one team that has shown the most interest in Kuzma and engaged in trade conversations for him numerous times over the last year, including this offseason, is Sacramento. Ahead of the 2024 NBA draft, sources said the Kings looked to package their 13th overall selection with other assets in a deal that would have sent Kuzma to Sacramento. The Wizards, who wanted more draft assets, it came out that the Wizards apparently wanted 2 first-round picks. They wanted more than just the 13th overall selection and declined to move Kuzma for what the Kings were offering. Then later on in the article, a little bit, the following paragraph, this is the part where this is still the hyper relevant part. He writes, this is again Brett Siegel in his What He Learned from Vegas interview article. Even after landing DeRozan in a sign and trade with the Chicago Bulls during free agency, Brett Siegel writes that Sacramento still holds interest in Kuzma as a legitimate trade target ahead of the 2024-25 season. So according to Brett Siegel, he is hearing that the Kings are still active in trade talks for Kyle Kuzma, or at least still kicking the tires on seeing if they can get a deal done with Kyle Kuzma. And I think we had heard that they had offered some package surrounding the 13th pick for Kyle Kuzma on draft night, but to kind of hear it officially reported on, and that they are still very interested, is definitely something that I think a lot of Kings fans do like to hear, because they just want another move to happen. But I do think that there still is, and we've taken plenty of calls and plenty of texts on it. I think there's a lot of Kings fans out there that are afraid of Kyle Kuzma and think that's just not the right move. And you can definitely argue with DeMar being here. Do you really need another scorer? Do you need a guy who thinks that he can get buckets when, frankly, you already have enough guys out there who can get buckets? You kind of need a role player. And that's where this next part comes in, where Brett Siegel also writes that the Kings have interest in Cam Johnson. He writes, Cam Johnson, Dorian Finney-Smith, and Bojan Bogdanovic are the 3 forwards around the league that the league is labeling as the next names to move. Out of this grouping of players, Johnson, being Cam, is the one generating the most interest. In addition to the Kings inquiring about Johnson, the Rockets, Lakers, Cleveland Cavaliers, and San Antonio Spurs have also been linked to the former first-round draft pick, sources said. So yet again, Alan, I know you said it's very, very dry these days.
Right.
But yet the Sacramento Kings continue to do what they have done this entire offseason, and that is be involved in just about every rumor you could see. There is also a little bit of a nugget on Lauri Markkanen, not really much in terms of news, but again, just kind of confirming the Minnesota Timberwolves, Spurs, Heat, and Kings are the teams that have been in touch with the Jazz from the start of free agency regarding Markkanen. But I believe they also later put that it is not known if the Kings still have interest in Markkanen after the DeRozan trade. So we can confirm from Brett Siegel that they still have interest post DeRozan in Kuzma and in Cam Johnson. But Brett Siegel is saying that he hasn't officially heard that the Kings are still in pursuit of DeRozan. Of Markkanen, especially after they kind of threw that Godfather offer, what they viewed as the Godfather offer without Keegan Murray involved. Hasn't really been much movement since the Jazz declined that move.
this was from, just as it pertains to Cam Johnson, Chris, Brian Lewis, New York Post reporter who covers the Nets. He says the Warriors could emerge as a dark horse for Cam Johnson. Cam Johnson, while the Kings, Magic, and Lakers are interested, one recent report claimed the Spurs, Raptors, or Wizards could be a dark horse. So that's about every team.
So everybody. And I think we talked about this a little bit when it came to the initial DeRozan. Do people not know what dark horse means anymore? If we just throw it as like, if I don't think you can name 4 teams and say all 4 are dark horses.
No, that's
at
not
some
how it
point,
works.
like there is a line, and there is a team that is last, but has better odds than what you might think, and that is a dark horse.
Right.
You can't have 5 different dark horses in a race. That just means that it's an even race. I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't surprise me if the Warriors are kicking the tires on things that aren't Lauri Markkanen, because I still think the price for Markkanen is the price for Markkanen, and that's not shaking. So maybe the Warriors, much like the Kings, are going to explore. It wouldn't surprise me if at some point we hear Warriors have interest in Brandon Ingram. Wouldn't surprise me if maybe we hear Warriors have interest in Jeremy Grant. Maybe not Kyle Kuzma, but it wouldn't surprise me there either. I think all these teams are kind of in the same process. There's the same names that are out there. It's the same names that have been out there. And something tells me the packages are the same. Something tells me not much has changed. And at some point here, it's just going to be a matter of something's got to give. Teams get closer to the season starting. They start to say, dang, we still have Dorian Finney-Smith and Cam Johnson. Can we at least get rid of one of them?
Yeah.
It gets to the point where deals just have to get done. And I just think we're not at that point, unfortunately. If a deal is going to get done in this period, it feels like it's got to be a team being aggressive and saying, look, I'm tired of this. We need to get somebody in this building. And that's why I think the Warriors are next up, and I think they're going to eventually give up whatever for Lauri Markkanen. I think they're going to settle for one of our boy Pods or Kuminga, but that to me feels like the next domino to fall. But even then, I don't know if it's going to happen soon.
Are you okay with the Kings saying no to the Wizards asking price of, because I would imagine this was before the Davion situation.
Yeah.
So you had
I think Davion was traded the day after.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's some form of 13 Davion and Sasha, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the Wizards said, no, give us that and another first. Are you okay with the Kings saying that's too much?
Yeah, I think so, especially if that's what it was, which would make sense because, like the next day they trade those 2 pieces. Right. It's not crazy to assume that, maybe that's what it was focused around, because I think that's fair value. I mean, to me, if you're giving up 2 picks for Kuzma, that's max. Like that is, in terms of that is capping what Kuzma's max value is.
Yeah.
I'm never going to be a fan of that, and I think you shouldn't settle for that, and I'm glad the Kings moved on. They said, okay, we're not going to do that. That's not going to stop us. That's not going to keep Davion and Sasha on our team. We have to take care of ourselves. We can't be held hostage for from these other teams that are hesitant to make moves. We have things that we have to prioritize and we have to get done. So I am glad that they said, look, we need to make a deal. And if you're not willing to do it for these guys, we're not just going to ship off 2 first-round picks because that's what you want. I mean, there has to be some form of compromise. And I think the Wizards feel like they're in a position of power where they don't have to trade Kuzma because they've made this weird pivot to like a middling team. I'm okay with it. I understand why some people would just kind of say be aggressive. And if you like Kuzma, you like Kuzma. But I think 2 second-round picks is just too much for a guy that, frankly, especially at this point, he's 2 first-round picks at that. Yeah. He's going to be your 4th option at best. I guess 3rd option at best, but more likely he's going to be 4th, 5th scoring option. And I think 2 first-round picks is way too much to give up for a guy that, you can get Cam Johnson, I would assume, for slightly less, and the production's probably going to be pretty similar.
Let's get to Brian, who has some information or a little bit background on the newest King, Orlando Robinson. What's up, Brian? What you got for us on Stiles and Watkins?
Guys, Brian Fonseca, actually a Sac State grad, and I coached JC Hoop down at Reedley College for a long time. And hey, Orlando Robinson was a heck of a player at Fresno State.
Mm-hmm.
Matter of fact, my daughter attends San Diego State, and they had the Final Four team beat. They just couldn't score. But he is long. He's athletic. You know, I'm not sure about his outside game, but I know he has some. But he really, really, I mean, at Fresno State, they just loved him. So I think it's a pretty good get there for the Kings.
Yeah. No, I like it from what I've seen, just the highlights. And obviously it's hard to tell from the, G League versus the pros, but he did play really well during the summer league. Thanks, Brian.
Yeah. Thank you, Brian.
As Brendan has called him a summer league legend.
Oh.
So he has looked really good in summer league, and you never know, man. I think I saw Chris, he was 24 years old.
Yeah, 24.
24 years old. So he's still a spring chicken, and hopefully the Kings can kind of get some out of him in that space. You know what you have in Alex Len, and now you take a flyer on this guy and see how it could work out for you. Okay, coming up next, back into some baseball with a little bit of fair or foul with one Lawrence Butler. If you're not a fan of the Astros, this is not going to help. Stiles Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Malik Monk plays here.
Started left, goes right, steps back, launches the three. Nothing but net. Oh, that was just filthy. Oh, my, that was sweet.
Sacktown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
The doctor's office that accidentally mixed up your files has your social security number. The power company that mistakenly cut your service has your payment info. And the hotel that lost your reservation has your passport number. You need LifeLock because your personal info is in endless places that can expose you to identity thieves. LifeLock monitors hundreds of millions of data points every second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% with promo code NEWS at LifeLock.com. Terms apply.
This is Protection. Yep, Protection. The everyday skin protection ritual that protects your skin from mosquitoes. Pre-barbecue. Pre-playground. Pre-everything. Pre-every day. Prevention is the best protection. This summer, make sure you have OFF, the #1 dermatologist recommended repellent brand. SC Johnson, a family company.
Big O Tires proudly sells our own brand of innovative, newly designed tires, like the Bigfoot AT2 with improved all-terrain traction, and the Legacy All-Season Plus that keeps you on the road in any weather, with every set backed by our ProTech Plus warranty.
And right now, get $80 to $100 instant savings on 4 select in-stock Big O brand tires with installation purchase. Now through July 28th. Big O Tires, the team you trust. No carry-outs, not valid with other offers. Eligibility may vary. Disposal fees extra and shop fees extra where permitted. See store for details.
This is the story of the one. As a maintenance engineer, he hears things differently. To the untrained ear, everything on his shop floor might sound fine, but he can hear gears grinding or a belt slipping. So he steps in to fix the problem at hand before it gets out of hand. And he knows Granger's got the right product he needs to get the job done, which is music to his ears. Call, click Granger.com, or just stop by. Granger, for the ones who get it done.
Hey, what are you doing up on the step stool?
About to clean these light fixtures. The whole family's coming over, and if there's even a speck of dust in the house, my abuela will find it.
Here, I got a Swiffer duster to help with that.
A Swiffer what?
A Swiffer duster. It has this cool extendable handle that reaches 6 feet to get high and low, with fluffy dusters that easily trap and lock dust.
So no more step stool?
No more step stool.
Easily trap and lock dust from hard-to-reach places with the Swiffer duster. Love it or your money back.
We just want to have enough money for retirement.
And travel to visit our grandchildren.
I understand. That's why at Fisher Investments, we start by getting to know each other so I can learn about your family, lifestyle, goals, and needs, allowing us to tailor your portfolio.
What about commission-based products?
We don't sell those. We're a fiduciary, obligated to act in your best interest.
So how do your management fees work?
We have a simple management fee based on the value of your portfolio. So we do better when you do better.
We appreciate that kind of transparency.
We also check in with you regularly to keep you up to date on the markets and your portfolio.
Well, what other services do you offer?
As a client, you have access to resources on investing, financial planning, estate planning, Social Security, Medicare, and more.
Wow, sounds like Fisher Investments has everything we need.
At Fisher Investments, we're clearly different. Learn more at
Carmichael Dave here for Capital Casino. Sacramento summertime heat is back. And, of course, Cap Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room, wants to invite everyone to soak up some air conditioning, still with the most variety of table games in the region. And, as always, the best food, best service, and the best action, conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. Capital Casino, of course, reminding everyone to please make sure you gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Unleash your backyard's potential with Premier Pools and Spas. As the region's top pool builder, no challenge is too difficult for us. Let us create the perfect pool for your home and your budget. Call or search Premier Pools and Spas and get started today. CSLB number 589234.
Live and local. Live and local. This is Sacktown Sports.
So here's a fair or foul situation, guys. And we got a question on the text line we'll get to, and we'll get to Rob as well. But real quick, this was Lawrence Butler, who has been on fire. Okay, Lawrence Butler, he made a mechanical fix in his swing. Okay, that was June 30th. Since then, he's slashed 419, 471, and 936 with 8 home runs. His Butler's success can be directly linked to an adjustment he made on the recommendation of A's director of hitting, Darren Bush, prior to a game in Arizona against the D-backs on June 30th. The fix involved a few mechanical tweaks, the main one being to keep his head movement under control at the plate, which helped him see the ball longer and recognize pitches better, okay? So in his last 11 games, he has 20 hits, 20 RBIs, 4 doubles, 2 triples, and 6 home runs. Last night, he was a single away from the cycle. And
the easiest part.
Yes. And they were up 8-0, or either 8-1 or 8-0.
It was 8-1. Yeah.
On the Astros. Okay. And he drew a 5-pitch walk. And A's fans let the Astros have it because obviously they didn't necessarily throw around him, but it was a 5-pitch walk. There was nothing he could do. He's not going to swing at balls here. And they walked him. And it kind of blew up, and everybody was saying fair or foul on the Astros. Obviously, it wasn't a quote-unquote intentional walk. But again, they had no intention of letting him get a hit. And I'm not saying you have to throw him a cookie right down the pipe or anything like that. But fair or foul, I guess we could open this conversation to kind of to the unwritten rules of not just baseball, but other sports as well. But I thought it was incredibly foul. The Astros, we already know what you got away with, the trash cans, everything like that. Oakland, they are who they are. This game is already cooked for you, all right? I'm not saying throw him a cookie, but get it in the zone and see what he does with it. It's just the little things in life, Chris. I don't know.
No, I mean, I'm always going to be on the side of history. Let history happen, and hitting for the cycle, especially for an A. I can't imagine who the last A to hit a cycle was. But, I mean, I'm always going to be on the side of it. But I do kind of think of the human side, too, where if I were a pitcher and I knew somebody had was a single away from a cycle, I'm probably not going to be super willing to throw it over, but it's kind of I mean, I'm going to root for him to have a chance to hit the cycle, but I don't really know how you kind of ensure that you're giving somebody a fair chance, but at the same time remaining competitive. It's kind of a weird balance.
Just mano-y-mano. Best fastball you got. So. Throw a strike.
Maybe. Yeah. I mean, I would ideally love it, but I think that's maybe living in a non-competitive world. These guys are still trying to, even though the game is over, it's 8-1 and it's the 8th inning, it is definitely over. But I think that maybe that guy's thinking, hey, I don't want this guy to get a cycle off of me. And I think that's probably what it is. I definitely don't like it. I don't agree with it. And I think this is absolutely 100% the same exact thing that we talked about when Paul Skeens got pulled out for the no-hitter. This is what's wrong with baseball, is that they get in their own way of letting cool moments happen, but I don't really know how you police around it.
And by the way, Paul Skeens, he got to pitch the 9th inning last night.
Crazy.
They ended up losing. So a week.
Crazy.
A week later, he gets to pitch the 9th. And I'm sure there were pitch counts involved and things like that. But there you go. I just saw that, and it frustrated me.
It was terrible.
It frustrated me.
It definitely, especially for, the A's, like in general with their situation, like you want to give that fan base as many good moments to have as possible with the time they have left. And the fact that they're kind of robbed of what could have been maybe the last cycle hit from an A in Oakland. Definitely.
Yeah, that's true.
Not super chill. But again, I blame baseball more than I blame the individual Astros. I think, I think it just more speaks to the bigger problem with, like you said, the unwritten rules and the culture around baseball as opposed to, everything else. It's kind of like, if somebody's got 28 points or something, you're going to lock them up and try and make sure that they don't get to 30. And it doesn't feel like you have that competitive nature that, like you said, go mano-a-mano, throw me your best fastball one-on-one just to let it happen, just for it to be a moment. Feels like that doesn't happen in baseball.
But you should feel like that fastball can get him out.
You should, but who knows? Like that reliever could be somebody who's on the edge of AAA and MLB, and maybe if he gives up that hit, that could be the difference of, how he's viewed from the organization. And, there's just so many other stupid outside things going on that, I just think, again, I think it's more of a baseball problem than an individual problem. But I would say, in terms of an athlete, you should think, screw this guy. I know my teammates have let him get a triple, a homer, a double.
That's what I'm saying.
There's no way. But that just, I think that, again, in a sport in which we talk openly about the GM overruling managers, I just think that that's above the pitcher at that point. He's not making, if I had to guess, the pitcher's not the one making the decision to walk that guy. It's probably coming from much above.
No, it's the pitcher. It's soft. And
it's definitely soft.
You let him get on base anyway. 916-339-1140. Let's get back into some Kings talk. Rob, what you got for us?
Hey, how's it going, guys?
Good.
How you doing?
So I'm doing great, guys. The weather's starting to get a little bit better.
Sure
last couple days were hot. So I got a quick question before I have a bigger question, but the first question is kind of about Orlando Brown. Do we know if he signed to that $4.7 million biannual, or did we sign him to a two-way contract?
Details haven't been released yet for Orlando Robinson yet.
Yeah.
I've been, I didn't know much about him until we got the news, and I've been looking at some video, and I've looked at his G League stats, which looked phenomenal. He could be a great piece, and we've been talking about they need to make moves, still work to be done to fill out this roster. And if they made him a two-way, we still have two available spots. If they give him a full roster spot, I think that only leaves us with one. But I know right now, without Orlando Robinson, I know we have the vet minimum available. That's $7.7 million, 4.7 biannual, and then that $12.9 million mid-level exception is available. I don't know that we're going to find a $13 million player that just fits. I'd love to go after a guy like Tyus Jones. I know we don't need guards, but like you see Spencer Dinwiddie go to the Mavs, and you're like, man, they're just stacking their deck right now. And those are guys that we could. I mean, if he signed for a vet min, we could have probably got him for a vet min to that biannual 4.7 and still had use of something else. I'm thinking, what you guys are thinking on that? Would you take a shot on a Tyus Jones or a Javonte Green? Maybe go get both of those guys. I know you guys are throwing Bismack Biyombo around. I think with the Orlando Brown, we might not need Biyombo anymore. I think they do a lot of the same things, and Brown's got a lot more upside and youth. So, see what you guys think about that.
Oh, thanks for the call, Rob. I love Tyus Jones.
Robinson. Orlando Robinson.
Right, he got it right
Yeah,
the second
you
time.
got-
He got it right the second
The
time.
last time. I think.
Yeah, the last
He
time.
got
dude
it right
from-
the second time and then got it wrong
Yeah.
the third and fourth time.
Right.
The dude from
right.
That's So Raven.
Yeah,
That's
I was
so
like,
Raven.
there's a
Yeah,
very
yeah.
big difference.
And he's
yeah, I was like, let's let's make sure.
Yeah,
Rapper.
Orlando Robinson.
In terms of all the money stuff too, I don't think that's super. I'm not sure where you're getting those, but I'm pretty sure they don't have access to that 13 million anymore because you only get that if you are a non-taxpayer team. And I believe after all the moves the Kings have paid, they now have access to, I believe, half of that. So it might be a $5 million. And even then, I think, with whether that's just not knowing Orlando Robinson's contract details, we don't really have a full clarity on where exactly the Kings financials stand in terms of what they can offer guys. So a short answer would be, I don't think they can afford Tyus Jones. I think he's probably going to go to a situation where he can make more so towards $8 to $12 million.
Yeah, and I would be a hypocrite if I wanted Tyus Jones after how I talked about all the guards on this team. But I do really like him. I do really
definitely.
like him. I just don't think I could sit there and say that. But I do like Tyus Jones, and I hope he
Love
stays
him.
on the East Coast in the Eastern.
Yes, please stay in the
Conference.
Eastern.
Yes, please. Coming up next, DeMar DeRozan and the DHOs. The Kings ran 11.4 handoff possessions per game, the most in the NBA. The Chicago Bulls ran the last in the league. So how will DeMar DeRozan help or hurt the situation for your Sacramento Kings? Stiles Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Did you miss any part of our live local shows? Don't worry, you never have to miss them again. Check out sacktownsports.com and search our podcast page and play our shows when you want. The Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Plus, other podcasts like Return of the Empire, Return of the Roar, the Stingers Up podcast, and Golf to Go with Frank LaRosa.
They're all available right now on sacktownsports.com.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go. I didn't think I'd survive. But I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there.
Covenant House helped me break the cycle of homelessness in my family. They gave me the love that I needed.
Over 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed tonight. When youth who are experiencing homelessness have a hot meal, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love, they can overcome heartbreaking challenges and have a brighter future.
They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding. I'm a speaker, I'm an author. Covenant House really helped me and really helped mold me into the woman I am today.
If you or someone you love is asking for help, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
Power Business Technology is proud to be 100% independent, locally owned, and managed Toshiba copier dealer. Local ownership cuts out the red tape, allowing ourselves to never be too busy to personally answer the call when our clients need us. Recognized for excellence in service execution, training, and customer service, we're proud to be named a 2022 Toshiba ProMasters Elite Dealer. Contact us today for all of your business printing needs at 844-POWER-BZ. That's 844-769-3729, or visit us at powercopiers.com.
I'm a very active person that likes to move around and go. The pain I was in was really excruciating. It was actually debilitating. I was basically heading towards a sedentary lifestyle. I had really tried everything, but I quickly lost hope with all of the things that we had tried, and that's what led me to the Good Feet store. And when I found the Good Feet system, it really just changed everything. It brought me back to life. I have my active lifestyle back.
The Good Feet store in Sacramento, Roseville, and Vacaville.
Keep your family cool and comfortable this summer with Bell Brothers' best summer ever financing events. When you replace your AC system, we're offering 0 payments, 0 interest for 6 months on approved credit, then low fixed rate thereafter. That's right, 0 payments, 0 interest for 6 months on any new AC system. It's an incredible offer on an incredible new AC system, but only for a limited time. This offer is also available on any plumbing, water heater, or installation projects over $1,000. So call Bell Brothers now. Your family will thank you because they'll be cool and comfortable. But you have to hurry. Our offer for 0 payment, 0 interest for 6 months, then low fixed rate thereafter ends soon. Estimates and second opinions are free. So call now to keep your family cool and comfortable during Bell Brothers' best summer ever event. Our number is 916-444-1234 or find us online at theNoSurpriseGuys.com. That's theNoSurpriseGuys.com.
The No Surprise Guys, Bell Brothers.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento.
Take it on the local level. Live and local, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., Monday through Friday.
From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, Sacktown Sports.
Sacktown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sacktown Sports and subscribe.
From the 916, is it fair to say that DeMar DeRozan should make us an easy playoff contender
for a 5-6 seed, but the lack of further moves will make us an easy first-round playoff exit?
No, I mean, I think, I don't necessarily think they're an easy first-round exit right now. I think they can still make some noise right now. Why not? Why not? That's my question is, I know, they haven't made all of the moves that I feel like everyone feels like they should, but I definitely think they're an improved team. And why can't they win a first round series right now?
Well, I think I would. That's why they're so confusing, right? And Jason Ross kind of alluded to it when they first made their move. Is it fair to say that DeMar DeRozan should make us an easy playoff contender for 5 or 6 seed? I think so, but I don't know. And then when you say make us an easy first round playoff exit, I don't necessarily agree with that. They could be in the play-in. They could be a 3 seed
anywhere. Yeah,
they could. I don't think either one is
as defined.
Yes,
yeah.
I don't think either one is for sure. Oh yeah, they're for sure a 5-6 seed.
Definitely,
they could be back in the play-in. They could be a 3 seed.
Yep.
And I also don't think that they would for sure get outed in the first round. I mean, there's so much that has to go into it. We saw this season, and I think now, Chris, things have flipped in the complete opposite direction. Whereas at the end of 2 seasons ago, it was, okay, the Kings have an opportunity, and there were some injuries. Now, with everybody being as healthy as they were, now it's, well, the Kings, how are they even going to get over the hump? And everyone's just assuming it's going to be just like last season, where history tells us it will not be like last season. You just hope that your team is one of the healthier or healthy teams. But we wanted to get into this DeMar DeRozan DHO breakdown that you had, Chris.
Yes, this is a shout out Will Z, who's done great work on King's Twitter for a minute. He's now actually, I'll definitely give him a shout out 100%. We've been using his numbers at least since I've been on air. He's now writing for SI, so shout out Will Z and SI, who's clearly trying to do kind of what SB Nation was doing in the past, where they kind of have team-focused writers that are pumping out tons of content. So definitely go check out all of Will Z's work over there at SI.com. But he wrote about DeMar DeRozan and the dribble handoff. And yes, the DHO, the thing that Kings fans have become incredibly familiar with over Mike Brown's tenure here. Will writes here, the Kings ran 11.4 handoff possessions per game, which was the most in the entire NBA. And I don't think that's a shock to anybody. We know from watching the Kings, but then watching the Kings play other teams, nobody dribble handoffs as much as the Kings and has it just baked in as their offense nearly as much as the Kings do. In contrast, however, as the Kings, again, lead the NBA in handoff possessions per game, the Chicago Bulls ran just 2.6, which was dead last in the NBA. And I think a lot of people can read that in a lot of different ways. You can say, well, see, DeMar's not going to be comfortable. These are not the kind of offense he runs. Will there be an adjustment period? Will goes on to essentially say he thinks it's going to be more so helpful because of it's more expanding the kind of touches and the places in which DeMar is going to get the ball, as opposed to before. It was just by nature a lot of ISO touches and things like that, where it's now baked into the Kings offense that there's going to be movement, not just from DeMar, but on the ball, but DeMar off the ball as well. DeMar last season ran just 0.6 handoffs per game, which would rank 6th on the Kings last season. Keegan had 3 per game. Kevin Huerter, 2.7. Malik, 2.2. De'Aaron, 2.0. HB, 1.2. And then he would fit in right in between HB at 1.2 and Keon Ellis at 0.5. And that's clearly points off of handoffs, or else obviously I would assume Sabonis would be number 1 with a freaking bullet if this was saying the person doing the handoffs or running any sort of the handoff motion. So these are scores, or I guess possessions in which you get the handoffs. DeMar has typically not received it off of handoffs, which again tells me he's getting the ball more so out on the perimeter, not near any sort of screener, now not an immediate screener. That pick and roll might come later, but I think this just shows DeMar is going to be getting the ball in movement, like we see Kevin Huerter really get the ball in movement, take those 2 steps, side steps, and take that 3. I think it's going to be the same exact kind of motion, but in mid-range. Or you can get DeMar receiving that handoff and then just instantly going into a pick and roll. But really the question that Will Z presents is, do you think the DHO game will hurt or overall help DeMar DeRozan? And he, like I said, he definitely goes on in the article to say he thinks that it will help. He said this not only should open up his game to more good looks, either in the mid-range or at the basket, but it will also allow him to set up his teammates as well. And that's about as detailed as he ends up getting into it. But I personally think that it's going to do exactly what Will's laying out there. I think it's going to be an instant screen for him to run off of. That either creates enough space for him to get his look, or it creates a bit of gravity for people to follow him because they know he's such a lethal mid-range scorer. And that leaves either Sabonis wide open under the basket, or it potentially leads to a spray 3, which we can have we can just cut Mike Brown audio from all season long of him talking about sprays.
Yeah, I think that it might be it's a very important training camp for the Kings. Yeah, right. It's a very important training camp to figure everything out. And then after you figure everything out, then you have the live games and things are going to be different. You'll obviously have some preseason games, but who knows how much they'll play there. And then you blink and it's time for the season. So I do think it might look a little bit clunky to begin with, but all in all, you're giving DeMar DeRozan, a prolific scorer, different ways to get the basketball and score the basketball. And, you know, the whole idea of the spacing thing, I don't think it's going to be that big of an issue. When I think no spacing, I think Russell Westbrook. Yeah. Right. And Russell Westbrook now, not when he had a mid-range jump shot. So I don't think it'll be something that hinders the offense. I think it'll be something that helps. And ultimately they might run less DHO as well. Definitely. And I don't think that's an issue either. I think that this whole situation and what we've talked about, whether it's the Celtics, whether it's any of these teams, whether it's the Niners, right? It's all about evolving. Yeah. And if these teams who are pretty darn successful can evolve, then I'm not going to sit there and say, oh, the Kings, they can't get away from their DHO. You have to be able to evolve if you want to make the next step and take the next step in these leagues.
Yeah, 100%. I'm right there with you. I think the word that I want to use for this Kings season, hopefully more than any, is fluid, because I'm right there with you. I don't care what they're doing. I don't care if it's pick and roll heavy. I don't care if it's DHO heavy. I don't care really if it's ISO heavy. I just want it to all make sense. I want it to feel like, okay, we're not forcing the issue here. It feels like we're leaning into our players' strengths as much as possible. And I think that can be fluid. Like you said, it should be some counters. Yes, go ahead, run your DHO stuff to start the game. But if it's not working, I want to see some pick and rolls. Right. I want to see DeMar in ISO. Yeah. I want to see Malik Monk a little bit more in ISO too. I definitely think that I just want to see these guys start to look like frankly, like a little bit more of the league. I think it's great that the Kings have their system and run it clearly. Again, leading the league in handoff possessions. They clearly prioritize that, but that's kind of what you do when you're trying to get formalized. I mean, you don't really know what your identity is, and so you kind of try and form an identity. They've played enough games together now where they should know where they like the ball, when they like the ball, who they like to attack, and where they like to attack from. Of course, DeMar is going to have to be worked into all that, but yeah, I just think that it should be a lot more fluid of an offense and a lot more just leaning into our guys' strengths. And I think we do now have a couple really good isolation scorers in De'Aaron, Malik, and DeRozan. Why not use them a bit? Go get a bucket. There should be some possessions where it might not look pretty, but that possession was literally just, we have De'Aaron Fox. We have TJ McConnell guarding De'Aaron Fox. Take him to the hole.
I don't want to say the wrong thing here, so I want to be careful. But is there something, and I know we did this back in the day when we looked up the Princeton offense and kind of the I guess the origins of what the Kings do and who else does it. Is there any part of you that feels like leaning on the DHO stuff and just how much they were cookie cutter with their offense besides the fourth quarter?
Yeah.
For lack of a better term, was it kind of elementary?
No, I don't. Well, yeah, I wouldn't use that. I know. I know you don't want to use that term. So
I'm
not
not using it
as
the offense being elementary, but like the idea of it. And let's get back. It just reminds me of high school.
Yeah, I think I understand what you're saying, and it's more of like, it's not necessarily that it's simple. It's more just, it feels like, let's just try and structure this thing a lot.
We don't
of letting
trust
you guys
you.
be
Yes,
athletes.
we don't trust you.
Exactly. Yes,
College,
it does read of that.
When you see, okay, what do we hear all the time in the NBA draft? Oh, well, what numbers did he have in college? And then somebody will say, well, those were his number in college. Imagine what it'll be in the NBA when they're not confined to that structured offense. The coach isn't telling them, do this, do that. You can just kind of do.
Kyrie was never going to thrive at Duke.
Never.
Thrive.
That's what I mean. That's what I mean.
Yeah, no, and I think I knew that's what you meant. But yeah, definitely. I think it does read of that a bit. And it might not even be I don't trust you guys. It might just be more of we can't let this thing get off the rails. And so we have to, because we are the Kings and we might start feeling ourselves after some point and, things change and whatever. Like we have to kind of stay true to who we are because that'll get us 45 wins, right? It might not be about let's maximize the absolute crap out of our potential and potentially, screw around and hit a floor. But I think it was very much meant to keep them in a box and say, if we just do this, we will be a good basketball team.
Right.
We can figure the rest out later. Again, Mike Brown harping on this is only year 2 of a however many year process. I think that could definitely be a thing that maybe we just start to see them get a little bit more of a leash. The Mike Brown lets these guys kind of start to feel themselves a bit more because, you don't bring in DeMar DeRozan and try and put him in a box. I don't think he's the kind of guy who, again, there's going to be a couple possessions where you say offense be damned, give DeMar the ball, and he's going to just hit a tough, forget even getting a good look.
Yeah.
Dude's just going to hit a tough shot. I think there needs to be a lot more of that. And, so at some point you do need to live and die with your players. And I think it would be nice to kind of see us win some games just because De'Aaron Fox was the best player on the floor.
Right.
And I think too many times we talked about it all through last year, a little bit too much of an equal opportunity offense. There needs to be some ego. There needs to be some, all right, it's your time to shine.
Yeah. Yeah. And maybe that's part of the reason when you say, oh, why isn't De'Aaron getting going until the second half, whatever it is? Maybe that's part of it.
It could all be baked in. Yeah.
Coming up next, the Jazz are open for business besides 2 players. We'll tell you who they are. And Andrew Nembhard getting the bag. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
On the move? Got somewhere to be?
Take Sacramento Kings basketball with you. The Sacktown Sports app will let you stay connected to your passion. Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with the Sacktown Sports app.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Elk Grove Honda.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. For your Wednesday, we're looking at mostly sunny skies and feeling the heat still for this afternoon. Highs will peak in the range of 100 to about 105. Bit of a delta breeze comes up tonight with temperatures in the 60s overnight. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
At Elk Grove Honda, we've acquired some of the best pre-owned cars we can find. Whether you purchase a new Honda or a like-new pre-owned Honda, Elk Grove Honda has the right Honda at the right price. In the Elk Grove Auto Mall, Highway 99 and Elk Grove Boulevard, or elkgrovehonda.com.
I gotta get an Elk Grove Honda.
I'm Ken Korak with your Green and Gold Report, brought to you by Xfinity Mobile. Connect to the most reliable 5G network nationwide. Well, the A's first pick in this year's draft is Wake Forest first baseman Nick Kurtz. Now, Kurtz, a 6'5" left-handed hitter, has drawn comparisons to Matt Olson and maybe even Hall of Famer Jim Thome. And even though the A's had the fourth pick in the draft, A's scouting director Eric Kubota said that Kurtz was the first pick on their board.
Want to save on some of the biggest names in streaming on the network made for streaming? Now through September 21st, get 150 megabit Xfinity internet for 12 months with a 1-year contract. And for just $15 a month, add the new Stream Saver. That includes Peacock, Apple TV Plus, and Netflix for just $35 a month. Switch at Xfinity.com today. Restrictions apply. Requires paperless billing and auto pay with stored bank account. Equipment taxes and fees extra. After promo, regular internet rates apply. Currently $54 a month. Actual speeds vary. Stream Saver requires Xfinity internet or TV and price subject to change.
Sacktown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
So let me get this straight here.
Get it straight.
So when the three of us decide to get some grub, right? There's only a couple places we normally go. And we'll go around, hey, what do you think?
Yeah.
What do you think? And
it's not fun. It's not fun figuring it out.
And we end up getting something that we normally get.
Yep. Yeah.
Rarely do we expand our horizons. And now Chris goes on a solo mission like Luke Skywalker, and I walk in to the most amazing smell I've ever smelled in my life. And it's just never been.
Oh, so it's not your food then.
No, my food is good.
I just want to say that I did not directly ask Alan if he wanted the food, but I did ask, hey, Alan, you said this morning Nate had food, right?
Yes.
Which is a non-aggressive way of asking, like, hey, so Nate has food, you're clarifying, and then that's your opportunity.
Sure.
Oh,
no, but that's fine.
The window is then open to, hey, do you want, are you
but
ordering
I'm not saying,
something?
but no, Chris, I'm not saying I wanted to get on board today.
Okay.
What I'm saying is you being on a solo mission felt more freedom to go in a
We have
different
gotten
direction.
this place before.
Not me.
Yeah, not you, because you didn't want it last time.
Also, every time something comes up, you have to complain somehow.
Yeah.
Like you're never a positive light in this.
What?
Also,
DoorDash
since we
battle.
didn't say where we got it from, this was $20, Alan. And Alan's always a stickler with the price.
God. Oh
Let me
my
send
God.
Nate $50.
That's why I pretty much stopped being like, dude, I can't do this because I'll be like, okay, Alan, this is how much you're caught. I send the receipt.
Yeah.
I do the math.
Sure.
And he just
And you're like,
blows up.
for a slice of pizza?
$23.
$37.
How much did you tip, Nate? How much did you tip?
Yeah, what are you tipping? You're
Nate,
giving this guy the house?
Do you know this person?
Yeah.
Why are you tipping so much?
You know how much I'll give you? I'll give you 3. That's it. That's it.
Well, I had to get that off.
It's great.
chest.
It's really good food.
No, yeah, no, it's
awesome, actually.
That smells
super
good.
dope.
It's amazing.
Not used to good smelling food in this building.
That is super dope. But speaking of
It's the dopest.
Speaking of Brett Siegel, Chris,
Yeah.
and he's been cooking lately,
Yeah.
but
Always.
the Jazz are open for business and willing to hear offers for all of their players except for 2. You want to guess the 2?
Well, it's not Laurie. Who would there? I'm trying to think even of Jazz. It's one Keontae George.
You are 1 for 1.
Oh my gosh. Well, that was a shot in the dark. I assume not Kyle Flipkowski, even though maybe at this point.
Right.
No, I have no. Taylor Hendricks.
You are 2 for 2.
Okay, those are the only 2 young Jazz I can even think
Yeah.
of. Do they still have Akchai Akbaji? I think maybe. No,
I think
he's not part of the 2. Okay,
he's not
gotcha.
part of the 2, and
We'll call him the Jalen Johnsons. Yeah,
the Jalen Johnsons. That's correct. Shout out the Atlanta Hawks, who again before this thing does pick back up.
Yep.
How about next week? Let's just book it now. We will do a and we can do every sport, right, or all the major sports, whatever. What are we doing list.
Gotcha.
What are we doing list.
Yep.
They have no plan. We don't know what they're doing.
Okay.
And you got the Hawks. You got the Bulls.
Don't spoil the list now.
That's right.
I would add UCLA with their head coach to this list. Can we play this audio? Have you heard this, Alan?
I haven't, but Chris keeps telling me how good it is.
Dude, we got to get to
Verlon
this.
came in during the break and was like, "You have to see this." And I was like, "Is this what it is?" And he was like, "Yes."
Dude.
It's pretty incredible.
It's amazing. Can I play it for you, Alan?
Play it.
Coach Foster, welcome to the Big Ten. We'll begin with your opening statement.
This is Deshaun Foster, by the way, ex-running back, now
How you guys
UCLA
doing?
head coach.
I'm happy to be here. Glad to be a part of this great conference. Finally putting 2 great emblems together, UCLA and the Big Ten. We're a school that's won, 123 championships, so this fits us being right in this conference. Football-wise, we're just excited. I'm sure you guys don't know too much about UCLA, but our football program, but we're in LA. It's us and USC. We I'm just basically excited, really. That's it. Any questions?
I feel bad, man.
That's like if they went, "Hey Nate, right now you got to go give a speech. UCLA, you're the new head coach."
Why don't you just write something down?
I don't know. He knew they won 123 championships, or at least he was close.
He had the talking points.
So
ready.
that's something.
Maybe he just had like his UCLA intro presser in mind. He was like, "I killed that. Like I bodied that. I could probably do that in my sleep." And then he stepped up and he was like, "Yeah, Verlon actually, like I said, he came in during the break and showed me the video, and I was like," and he actually brought up, it's very reminiscent to best man speech, right? Where you go up, everybody thinks, "Oh, how hard? I'll just wing it. I'll just wing it. I'll go up there.
Yeah.
I got it." And then you get up there finally, and you got nothing to say.
Yeah.
Love is crazy, guys. These 2 kids. I remember when these 2 kids broke up for a week, huh?
Yeah.
Remember, and it's like, okay.
I got stories I can't even tell.
Yeah. This guy in Cabo?
You remember Cabo? No, we won't get into. She doesn't know about Cabo.
Oh, you didn't know she went.
She don't know about Cabo Clark, but it's fine.
Wow, that was bad.
It's not great.
I feel bad.
That would not be what I want my head coach doing with his first ever intro to the conference.
We're in LA. You got us. You got USC.
I love how that's his fact. He's like, you guys might know a lot about us here at UCLA, but we're in Los Angeles.
It's probably the last thing.
So is USC,
right? That probably ticked off somebody at UCLA. Why are you bringing up USC?
Yeah. Why are you saying at a press conference you probably don't know much about us? All those people there probably know just
they still are
so
aware
much
of
more.
UCLA,
Yeah.
even though they haven't been in the conference. I'm sure they have heard of UCLA before.
Hey, just want to combine 2 emblems. What?
Yeah.
Are they going to morph together?
Yeah.
2 logos becoming one.
We're a college football team. I played running back.
We're gonna go out
wearing
there.
A suit.
We're gonna go out there. We're gonna have a quarterback.
Yep.
We're gonna have some wide receivers.
We're
gonna have D line, no line.
Hey, and sometimes we'll get first down. Sometimes it'll be 4th down, and we might have to punt the ball.
So that's why we have a
it's
punter.
part of the game.
Yep.
That's why we have a punter. I'm gonna be out there holding the clipboard.
Yeah. You guys can catch me every Saturday.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We practice.
We can do this
in
again
LA.
sometime.
Uh-huh.
You know?
We practice in LA.
I'll
fun.
hit the A gap. That's something. The C gap.
We're also bearing the laugh at the end.
Yeah.
Was the most you could tell. It's always great when you can tell in the middle of bombing that you're bombing, and he's just like,
yeah. Any questions?
Yeah, nothing for you. That's about it. I'm just really excited.
Yeah.
That's about it.
That's about it.
That's about 30 seconds of silence. That's
been there,
about
man.
it.
You don't prepare for the speech you got the PowerPoint ready to go behind you, but you're just reading off the PowerPoint.
Got the logo.
That's
Get the
about.
logos.
Well, he didn't really know when to start talking or when to be quiet, and neither does Joel Embiid. He continues to tick off everyone in his path for absolutely no reason. We have all of his quotes, and hopefully you aren't as annoyed as I was. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
You never know what you might hear when listening to a Sacramento Kings game.
Out of Keegan, going for another triple. Man, is he feeling it. Keegan, can he do it? Yes, there's number 11, Keegan Murray. Keegan steps back. He just knocked down his 12th three-pointer, a Kings franchise record. He's got 45 points.
Never miss a moment of Sacramento Kings basketball with Sacktown Sports and the Sacktown Sports app.
My friends swim no matter the season, but my moderate to severe plaque psoriasis can sometimes take me out of the moment. Now, thanks to Skyrizi and Clear Skin, count me in. With Skyrizi, Risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults who are candidates for systemic or phototherapy. 3 out of 4 people achieve 90% clearer skin at 4 months.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
Thanks to Skyrizi, there's nothing on my skin, and that means everything. Ask your doctor today about Skyrizi, the #1 dermatologist prescribed biologic in psoriasis, and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKYRIZI to learn more.
Imagine the most beautiful panoramic setting, endless waves crashing on a beach, kids playing in the park. Now, right smack in the middle of your perfect picture, imagine just one piece of litter. It doesn't fit, does it? And it simply doesn't belong anywhere, certainly not in California, not even one piece. Good news, if we work together, we will change it all. Clean California, zero litter is the goal. CleanCA.com.
It's been said an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. And when it comes to a nice, cool summer, it's so true. Right now, get a complete air conditioner tune-up for just $59. Bonnie, plumbing, sewer, electrical, heating, and air. Bonnie.com. Some restrictions apply. License 696-355.
Sacramento, Dirks Bentley is coming to town. Saturday, September 28th at Hart Health Park at Cal Expo for Country in the Park 2. And he's bringing some friends. Harmony, Tyler Rich, Dasha, Kelsey Hart, and more. Saturday, September 28th at Hart Health Park at Cal Expo. Get your tickets today before they're sold out at CITPFest.com. Brought to you by McKee Brothers Plumbing and Booter Incorporated and Dawson Oil Company.
When an overwhelmed injury victim calls Ashton or Price, we immediately remove their legal burden and introduce them to the very best medical care in the region. They focus on their health and we handle all the rest. When they reach the end of their medical journey and are reunited with happiness and hope, we unleash our decades of legal experience to obtain maximum compensation. We are real, local, experienced litigators and snappy dressers too. Consultation's free and there's never a fee until we win.
Remember, for the best advice, don't think twice. Call Ashton and Price.
Michael Dave here for Capital Casino. Sacramento summertime heat is back. And of course, Cap Casino, Sacramento's #1 poker room, wants to invite everyone to soak up some air conditioning, still with the most variety of table games in the region. And as always, the best food, best service, and the best action, conveniently located in downtown Sacramento. Capital Casino, of course, reminding everyone to please make sure you gamble responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Unleash your backyard's potential with Premier Pools and Spas. As the region's top pool builder, no challenge is too difficult for us. Let us create the perfect pool for your home and your budget. Call or search Premier Pools and Spas and get started today. CSLB number 589234.
What's the missing piece for the 49ers?
Which names will they add during free agency? Whether it's in season or off season, the coverage never stops. Get the latest 49ers news on Sacktown Sports and sacktownsports.com.
Live and local.
This is Sacktown Sports.
If you missed our segment on the Kings signing Orlando Robinson, it is on YouTube right now, and I'm reading the comments, Chris. With all due respect, who? 3 question marks? What about Drew Timmy? He's been balling out.
Yeah, starting to shrivel. Oh, okay. That's not me. I never said that. I mean, I can't act like I was super familiar with Orlando Robinson's game before 30 minutes ago or anything like that. But no, I mean, I definitely would much rather take the bet on Orlando Robinson than Drew Timmy. And, sometimes it is as simple as the dude's legit a 7-footer. And I know he can rebound, and it seems like he brings some defensive rim protection capability. You can also, it's just a much better bet. I just think that there's an athletic upside that he could potentially reach. He's not the most fluid mover for sure. Or fluid athlete even, I would say. So maybe you might have me kind of checked there, but I definitely think it's to me a better bet. A guy who's been in the league, who's been in a Miami organization that is very, very highly touted. I just think it's a better bet than Drew Timmy. No disrespect to Timmy. I still think this doesn't really impact his Stockton chances, but I always kind of thought it was a long shot for Drew to end up in the NBA right now.
Well, speaking of big men, one of the best big men in the league is doing a lot of talking these days. But first, let's get to Tin, who wants to be a part of the conversation. What's up, Tin? What you got for us?
Hi, Stiles. Great work. With the Oakland Ballers, you are a man of the community, your face of NorCal.
Thank you.
I am very honored, Stiles, to have you represent the midday show for Sacktown Sports 1140. Keep on.
Thank you, Tin. I appreciate it.
Yes. Love it. Oh, that's it.
Okay. Thanks, Tin. Appreciate you, Tin.
I'm also honored.
I didn't know if Tin had anything else. Thank you, Tin.
That's really nice.
I met Tin at the NBA draft.
That's right.
Remote.
Yeah.
Yes.
Public House. Your spot.
Public House. That was my spot.
It was kind of crazy over there.
It was. Devin Carter. That's what we got our guy. All right, Nate. Let's get to Joel Embiid, who is no one's guy right now. So he has, Chris, multiple quotes. First, he talks about how he thinks he's the most hated in the league. Then he calls LeBron washed.
Yep.
Then he says if it wasn't for injuries, he'd be the GOAT. Then he says if he wouldn't get double teamed, he would average 50 a game. Then he says that Tatum has a super team, and if he goes 5 for 20, they might lose, which might be the only one that
sounds
is
like
somewhat true.
Kyle Shanahan.
Well, it's on the same track, these hypotheticals. All right, let's start with Embiid saying he's the most hated in the league.
I like when the fans, that's why I'm probably the most hated guy in the league. I don't know why, because I'm just cool. Like you're
the most hated guy.
I don't know what's there to hate about me. Like
it's the injuries.
I feel like a lot of people can relate to my story and what I've been through.
I mean,
don't feel that.
He's not one of the most hated guys. Yeah. And whenever you have to say I'm a cool guy, that's not. I'm a cool guy.
I'm a cool guy.
Drop top, raindrop.
Yeah, that's a cool guy right there.
I'm humble, man. Yeah. And I'm humble, too.
And I'm humble.
Yeah.
And
I'm
smart. And I'm handsome.
Yeah, I'm just a total package, but I don't talk about it.
I don't get what people don't like. I really just don't understand. Like, what isn't there to like about me is
I'm
really
an introvert.
Yeah. Remember when he was doing the thrusting and he got fined for that?
Yeah, that was great.
Because he's just, I do think some people do think he's funny, and he's got some Giannis to him.
Yeah, for sure.
The
dry humor.
Yeah, the problem is he just didn't win. That's real, or hasn't won.
We almost put him on our Kings list yesterday.
What's the difference between Joel Embiid and Giannis from a personality standpoint?
I think Joel is a little bit more open with, like, Joel is a troll. I think Giannis is just kind of like, I mean, he just tries to be funny. Like, Joel is actively, I think, trying to get a rise out of people. He knows, like, what he's doing sometimes can like the hip thrusts, and sometimes he'll make some comments about people just to kind of get the people going. I think he just has a really good understanding of how to be a Twitter troll. I mean, that's really what it is to me. Giannis just isn't quite as overt with it. You just randomly see these random Giannis family videos pop up.
Yeah.
The Greek freak.
But by the way, and we have more Embiid to get to, guys, cool or corny, Giannis during this Olympic season, Giannis was asked, they're asking, all these content or social media people for the teams are asking all these players similar questions. Who are the hardest guys to guard?
Oh, yeah, I saw Dylan Brooks answer that.
Yeah. And Giannis named Kostas. He named his three brothers.
Oh, man.
And I saw somebody, the first comment was, it looked like a woman, and she said, "Oh, with my sons, good on Giannis. No one is better than your brotherly whatever or family." And I just thought, just answer the question. Can you just answer the question? I thought it was so corny, guys.
I mean,
I'm sorry.
He gets so sick of it. Like, I would be sick of dealing with media like him.
No, you don't get asked questions like that. You're playing for your home country. This is completely different than NBA, the humdrum of the NBA. This media probably doesn't get to talk to you as often, and you're going to say your three trash brothers.
Are they playing on Team Greece, the brothers?
I think one of them is. I don't know which one.
Yeah. I'm surprised he played if they wouldn't let him play.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Just answer the question, because I am curious.
That stuff doesn't really irritate me, I guess.
It irritates me.
It's just a little bit of, like, I mean, just play the game a little bit. Like, I saw a video of Steph, like, making a video of him walking into an NBA store in London. Like,
does he need to do stuff like that? No.
I mean, no, he doesn't. Yeah, exactly.
He doesn't need to do that show either. He's about to do.
Yeah, I mean, that looks
terrible. This morning.
That looks really bad.
It looks like a good show.
Chris was getting so mad at Alan this morning.
We don't need to talk about that. I just think it's definitely corny for sure. I just think it's just answer the question, man. Like, it's not, not everything has to be coming back to your brothers. We get it. You love your brothers and you think the world of them, and you're single-handedly trying to keep their careers alive.
Yes,
we get it.
I think that's it. Yeah. There's what are we doing?
Just give one answer.
We get it.
Just say LeBron and then say your brothers or something. Like, it just didn't have to be.
That's it. All right, back to Embiid and these guys. It's just these guys. People today are just annoying me. That's what's going on here.
I'm blaming Jason for today's show.
We can't blame Jason.
All right, guess I should credit. I'm not blame. Credit.
And Jason brought Verlade a sandwich.
The biggest sandwich I've ever
10 pounds.
Yeah.
I almost crushed my hand.
Vacuum-sealed sandwich.
It looks like
from New Orleans.
It does look like the moon.
It's massive.
And Verlade just walking around with it.
Yeah.
Verlade's walking around with it. Chris is eating this food.
It's really good.
Nate had a burrito.
Yeah, homemade. I made a burrito.
I'm over here fasting.
This is what Joel had to say about LeBron. He said, this is the LeBron quote. He said, LeBron now is not the LeBron that was a couple of years ago. So it's a big difference. Everybody would also tell you, and you could see it for yourself, the athletic LeBron, dominant that he was a couple years ago, is not the same that he is now. I think people get fooled by the names on paper, but those names have been built throughout their career, and now they're older. They're not what they used to be. That's Joel Embiid on his current Team USA teammate, LeBron James.
Yeah, are we sure he's not trying to destroy Team
could
USA?
Be a double agent. Definitely
he's also
could
right.
Be a double agent.
I mean, he's right.
Is he?
Embiid?
LeBron was going crazy.
He
saved
LeBron
Team
saved
USA
the
these
team,
last 2 games.
Terrible timing on that.
Terrible timing.
Yeah, I'm not saying. I guess I'm just playing devil's advocate.
But this is him. I should also say that this question was not directly about LeBron. The question was, hey, do you think Team USA, like, do you maybe see Team USA stumbling along the path to a gold medal? Like, what would be the reason why you guys don't win a gold? And his answer is, well, LeBron is actually way older than what you think. which is it's just crazy.
And he's been terrible on Team USA.
Yes, Joel. Yeah, Joel has been a big, not liability, but he is not. I think he has even said, "This is great. I don't have to do what I do for the Sixers here." I think he actually did say, "I can go 0 for 5 here, and we can still win."
Yeah,
and that's great. So I mean, there's definitely, if Team USA doesn't win a gold, I'm 100% going to tinfoil hat it and say Joel Embiid double agent.
He sold it.
Especially if France ends up winning the gold, for sure.
He goes on to say, these are all separate quotes, and this is just within the last week or so. "I think I'm talented. If you think about it, the thing that stopped me all these years is just freak injuries. Every single playoffs, regular season, people falling on my knees or breaking my face twice. It's always freak injuries at the wrong time."
It sure has been at the wrong time.
That's fine.
I mean, that doesn't change that they've happened and that they continue to happen.
He was injured coming into the league.
Yeah. What are we supposed to do with that? Like, I don't, just because they were freak accidents doesn't mean it hasn't affected your body in the long term. Doesn't mean that they didn't happen. Doesn't mean we could just rule them out, especially when it's been multiple over a year. I mean, Joel, I don't know who you're trying to convince here, brother, but you're injury prone and you've been injury prone. You missed your entire first season in the league because of injury. So the question has always been about your health. It's like, I mean, I get it. It's you. So you don't want to admit that, yeah, like I'm kind of broken down and my body isn't probably what it should be. But yeah, man, like I don't think you can really just chalk it down to freak injuries at this point. I think you do have to wonder, and it clearly sounds like he's not really looking inside. Are you taking care of your body in the right way? Should you be, I mean, I'm in no position to talk, but should you be as heavy as you are right now? Like Joel is a really, really big guy. Maybe he should, try and put less impact on his knees a bit. Like, I think that's the kind of thing that if I were injured time after time after time, and I'm not 30 years old yet, I would seriously have to look at how my body is constructed. Something that, frankly, Anthony Davis has done. He got too big. He's thinned out. And I think that it's something that Joel should really look at, because if you're 7 feet tall and you have knee issues all the time, you got to change something or else they're just going to continue to get worse.
Coming up next, we break down the newest on the NBA TV package drama. And at 1 o'clock, we ask another question as it pertains to the Kings. Some people were worried about this expansion draft talk. Could Keegan Murray be on the chopping block to get picked up? It might not be Keegan, but who would be on that list? Who are you protecting in the Kings expansion draft situation? That's at 1 o'clock. But first, we break down this NBA TV package drama. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
What's the missing piece for the 49ers?
Which names will they add during free agency? Whether it's in season or off season, the coverage never stops. Get the latest 49ers news on Sacktown Sports and sacktownsports.com.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave inviting you to make the switch to electric this spring and save big with American Energy. Stay ahead of those spiking energy bills this summer with up to $9,000 in rebates on a new ultra-high efficiency comfort system. American Energy is providing huge rebates from SMUD as well as spring specials by installing one of many incredibly efficient AC options available to you right now. Get rid of those fluctuating gas bills in the winter and switch to year-round all-electric with American Energy. Let them perform a free in-home energy efficiency analysis and see where they can help you save for the warmer months ahead. These guys are the best. Been serving the greater Sacramento area since 1981. A+ from the Better Business Bureau. Learn more by calling 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Hot summer savings now at Maida Chevy with $12,000 off MSRP on every new Silverado half-ton Turbo Max in stock after rebate. $12,000 off every Silverado LT Turbo Max at Maida Chevy with at least 5 at this price. Hot summer savings up to $12,000 off MSRP exclusively at Maida Chevy at MaidaChevy.com. Sacramento Silverado headquarters. Together, let's drive.
Not available with special financing, leasing, some other offers. Must trade in 2010 model year or newer and 7/31/24.
Made a great deal at Maida.
There was always a crowd gathered around our dining table when I was growing up. Hi, I'm Frank LaRosa with a word about Naturewood Home Furnishings. Everyone was welcome at my mother's table, so holidays, birthdays, and celebrations always included family and friends. I used to think I was the most popular kid in the neighborhood until I realized that my friends were really there for my mother's incredible cooking. Years later, when I bought my own dining table from Naturewood, I made sure it was large enough to make friends feel welcome. And right now, during Naturewood Home Furnishings' Dine in Style sale, you have an opportunity to find the perfect dining room furniture to help you create your own treasured memories. Choose from casual to formal or anything in between. Visit Naturewood Home Furnishings during the Dine in Style sale off Highway 50 at Hazel. Look for the water wheel.
Sacktown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sacktown Sports and subscribe.
Okay, Chris, you have some drama on this NBA situation.
Yes. Big drama. Especially, this is some billionaire drama. But before we get to the drama, let's lay the groundwork for what has been approved so far. Yesterday, we talked about TNT matching or saying they will match the Amazon Prime offer for the NBA, which we will get into in a minute. That's where the drama comes in. But it was also announced what the NBC package will consist of. And it does seem as if NBA on NBC, that is, will be the primary carrier of the NBA this year. I would say probably you would think ESPN was the primary carrier. Of course, you could maybe make the argument TNT was, but just in terms of the games that they hold, with ESPN formerly having, All-Star Weekend and all, or I guess TNT had All-Star Weekend, but they would have, the games of the week. They have the finals this season and all that stuff. It now appears that NBC will be the primary carrier. They will host the NBA's opening night. They will host the NBA All-Star Game. They will also do the Saturday night festivities. They will also do the Martin Luther King Day doubleheader as well. This is from the statement released by NBC, I believe. NBC and Peacock will carry a combined 100 games per regular season, which is more than any other media partner in the deal and more than any partner currently carries. Even though Warner Brothers Discovery currently airs more games if one includes NBA TV, which it really shouldn't. So it definitely seems as if the round ball rock, the all that. I don't think that's actually coming back because I believe Fox owns that music now, but definitely will be good to get the NBC. Yeah, this iconic music will no longer be with NBC, I believe, unless maybe they've worked out something there. I'm sure they're going to spend every dollar they can to get it because I think that's as big of a part of the NBC on NBA packages or NBA on NBC packages as anything. Is people need the nostalgia. They need the vibes. Thank you, Nate. This is where the drama comes in. As we talked about yesterday, TNT is set to match what is suspected to be the Amazon Prime package. Hasn't officially came out that that's the bid that they are going to match. They are able to match any of the three offers, whether it be the ESPN package, the Amazon package, or the NBC package. People are assuming that they are going to match the lowest valued one at something just over $1 billion. Okay. So, chump change there. This is from, Front Office Sports had this one. The NBA reportedly prefers Prime's bid over TNT's bid, however, and that's, again, from Front Office Sports. So even though TNT does have in their original contract that they have the right to match, it is now coming out that the NBA doesn't want TNT to do that, and they want to move forward with Amazon. Of course, Amazon obviously a little bit more future focused, a little bit more future proofed with the streaming. Also, there's a lot of success with the NFL, obviously moving Thursday nights to Amazon. A lot of people, from what I understand, the value in Amazon is it's not traditional TV, and so they give you a little bit more of an accurate sense of ratings and important information that you would want to know. I mean, you and I being in the ratings business can tell you can get as nitty-gritty as you want in terms of finding out people from 15 to 20 who watched the first quarter through the third quarter and didn't turn it off the entire. You can get as many detailed numbers as you want with the Amazon package. And I think that's why the NBA is preferring to move more towards that new age media. This is a quote from the Front Office Sports article. The league is considering TNT's counteroffer and could respond by the end of the week, I hear. The problem for TNT is the league still prefers Prime's bid, according to my sources. If the NBA rejects TNT's match, the network may have no choice but to sue, possibly arguing the league negotiated in bad faith. So that could be the route that we're about to go with the NBA media package, is that they could potentially go to court over whether or not the NBA actually was ever going to allow TNT to match. Just a little bit of background. A lot of people have criticized, not necessarily criticized, but questioned why this was even in the package in the first place, in the initial TNT package in the first place, the right to match. If the NBA I guess maybe the NBA couldn't have foreseen that they were going to get this big of a bag, but definitely is an interesting, I think, just if you're interested in contracts in general, I think this is a super interesting thing that could get really messy here sometime soon if they have to go to court over this, because I can't see how the NBA, if it really is written in the contract that TNT has the right to match, can't imagine that goes any other way but to TNT.
Yeah. Wow. That is some fascinating stuff. Did not think that we would end up here, but at the same time, this is not a game, right? This is real deal money, and this is a situation where obviously the NBA wants to make sure their next move is their best move, and a lot of people want a piece of the pie.
Do you notice these things, like in terms of like, I guess NFL is probably the only, baseball. I mean, like baseball has the Apple TV package now where they have their game of the week. I think they still do games on Fox and TBS and things like that. Do you personally, Alan, do you notice which broadcasts are broadcasting your games? Do you care? Or is it just, do you think this is just one of those
pre and post for me?
That's a good point too.
Than the actual games.
Right.
I like X pregame better than this pregame. So it's more about that than I would say the
broadcast
actual
itself.
Broadcast, for me personally.
Yeah, because I mean, I think I didn't even think about that angle of it, but that's probably where I fall too, where when we're in the game, I mean, some score bugs are nicer than others.
Right.
Some broadcasts are a little bit cleaner than others, but for all intents and purposes, I'm here to watch the game. And there's plenty of broadcasts I don't like the commentators for, and I'll mute it or something. There's tons of different issues. It's not going to affect me watching the game. So in the long run, I think you're right. Like, it is more about the pre and post game, and TNT, I guess in that sense, if you're an NBA fan, you probably want you're on the opposite side of the NBA probably in this. Though the Amazon show is great. I mean, the on Thursday Night Football, I don't think many people have a problem with, who is it, Carissa, Sherm, Whitworth, and Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Yeah.
It's a fine show. It's a decent broadcast, but I would assume that people would much rather, especially after all the clamoring that we've heard for, we can't let this show end. It can't end. It's so perfect. I would assume that the NBA probably is going to allow TNT to keep some game. And I think there is also reports that they could maybe just reach a settlement, and maybe TNT gets a fourth package in which it has a select amount of games. Maybe they continue to have their Thursday night games and that's it. And you can just kind of keep that TNT, because I do think, to your point too, this is really just about the TNT show. That's all anybody cares about.
Yes.
That's this entire
I saw
thing.
something, they had it with NBA players, and they said, your best memory from that show. So I just don't see them getting rid of it.
Yeah, I can't imagine.
I don't see them getting rid of it. I think they'd have a lot of people that are upset
Yeah.
about them getting rid of it. And
it's part of what makes basketball, like, it gives them the leg up too, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing that baseball doesn't have. Football has versions of it, but of course it's not to the level of that. But like, basketball isn't just about basketball, right? Like, that's the one thing we have learned about the growth of basketball over the past 10, 15 years is the games are honestly the side piece.
Mm-hmm.
People care about the drama. They care about the clicks. They care about the funny stuff. They care about the social engagement of it all. And nobody does it better than inside the NBA. And again, that show really isn't even about basketball. All of the funniest clips, I'm sure everything that all of those players listed was Shaq eating the one chip challenge.
Yeah.
Shaq falling off of the set and getting his feet tied.
Right.
Chuck doing something, the race to the board or whatever. Shaq jumping into a Christmas tree.
Yeah. Shaq trying to fight Barkley.
All of it. So yeah, I mean, it's, I would say that that's probably the most, I didn't even factor that in, but that's probably in reality the most important part of this all is just who do we trust to put together a good outside of the game package.
Well, and I think it's more necessary with the NBA than the NFL because of all the dang games.
Yeah.
And you have to bring people in what they're talking about.
Yeah.
It's a little bit different. Every game is so important for the NFL that I don't
Everybody's
know how
got fantasy teams too. Everybody keeps up with it.
I don't know how much fans are, I can't. I mean, I know people will complain about Collinsworth and guys like that, but at the end of the day, it's not going to hinder anything because we got 17 games to figure this out.
Exactly.
That's it. And then it's over. Basketball is a little bit different because they have 82 of them things.
Yeah.
So it changed a little bit. Coming up next, expansion draft. Let's talk more money. But you get to keep 8 players from the Kings. Maybe we'll lower it just for fun because 8, that's too high. But who's in, who's out if the expansion draft was tomorrow? Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Subscribe to Sacktown Sports on YouTube and watch the Carmichael Dave Show with Jason Ross, Stiles and Watkins, and the Drive Guys. Live Monday through Friday from 6 to 6. Plus view archive shows and exclusive content.
Subscribe at youtube.com/Sacktown Sports.
I didn't ask to be thrown in the streets with nowhere to go. I didn't think I'd survive. But I did ask for help, and Covenant House was there for me.
1 in 10 young adults will experience a form of homelessness this year. For these kids who didn't ask to be put in this unthinkable situation, Covenant House is there.
Covenant House helped me break the cycle of homelessness in my family. They gave me the love that I needed.
Over 2,000 young people will sleep safely in a Covenant House bed tonight. When youth who are experiencing homelessness have a hot meal, a safe place to sleep, medical care, and love, they can overcome heartbreaking challenges and have a brighter future.
They just really genuinely just wanted to help me succeed, and I'm succeeding. I'm a speaker, I'm an author. Covenant House really helped me and really helped mold me into the woman I am today.
If you or someone you love is asking for help, go to safeplacetosleep.org today.
If you're not looking for a brand new car, at Elk Grove Honda, we've acquired some of the best pre-owned cars we can find. We've kept only the best of our trades, and our buyer has found some of the finest pre-owned Hondas available in Northern California. You can see for yourself at elkgrovehonda.com. Whether you purchase a brand new Honda or a like-new pre-owned Honda, your car buying experience will be the same. We have the right Honda at the right price. You'll find us in the Elk Grove Auto Mall, Highway 99 and Elk Grove Boulevard.
I gotta get an Elk Grove Honda.
Summer is finally here, and so are all the best deals on DeWalt Power Tools at Fasteners Inc. Tool Outlet in Sacramento. Drills, impacts, circular saws, you name it, we have it for the best price in town, guaranteed. Whether you're a weekend warrior or a seasoned tradesman, we've got all the DeWalt products you need to crush your next project. So come on down to Fasteners Inc. Tool Outlet today on Power and Road for better tools at better prices. For more info, visit fastenersinc.net.
I would end the day with sore feet, sore legs. The drugstore inserts that I was purchasing were really not very useful at all. I walked into the Good Feet store and the guy kind of grinned at me and said, I hear that a lot. I was living with chronic pain before going to the Good Feet store. Now I don't really have that problem. I'm able to do the things that I expect to be able to do, even at my advanced age. I feel pretty good about what's going on.
The Good Feet Store in Sacramento, Roseville, and Vacaville.
Coach Doug Christie here to remind you, if you're in the market for a new car, shop Folsom Lake Kia. Low interest rates, low payments, and 0 down deals with approval of credit. Folsom Lake Kia, over 25 years, right here in Folsom.
Time to check out Capital Casino, conveniently located at 411 North 16th Street in downtown Sacramento.
KHTKAM Sacramento, KYMX HD2 Sacramento. From the Power Business Technology Toshiba Studios, your flagship station for the Beam Team.
Should we light the beam? Light the beam, baby.
Sacktown Sports. Sacktown Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
Going to get into this expansion situation and who would be safe for the Kings, but Nate wants to play something.
Well, I just have this clip from it's the TNT guys doing like a round table thing. It's a great clip. It's about Ernie. I just figured to build off. We didn't have enough time in the last segment. I just thought maybe if you guys haven't heard it, you'd like it.
Let's hear it.
Has all the notes, and he has everything in order. And Charles is new.
Well, we can do in a game break.
He's like, "What's those?" I'm like, "Those is notes." He just keeps them there to make sure everything's
It's
in order.
the format for the post-game show with a couple of notes written in it. So we're going to go from here to here to here to here to here.
And I realized he didn't know what it was and how important it was. And I egged him. I said, "I bet you want to take those from Ernie." And he's like, "I won't even take them. I'll rip them up." And so now I go, "Oh, he definitely don't know how important these are." And so now Ernie hears us. He says, "Charles, don't play.
Don't even think about it.
Don't think about it. This is don't do it." So I was like, "Oh, you're not gonna really." I thought he was gonna do one of these, then fake it. So Charles takes it and he rips it up. Right? He was mad. Oh no, wait. You know, Ernie, God bless, is the most Christian man I know. That wasn't funny. And he didn't speak to us the rest of the show. And the first time I was scared. I was like, Ernie's might swing on me because he was like, "You started it because you gave him the notes." I was like, I started doing
And
this.
so I just froze him out of the next segment.
Oh, you did?
He came back, because I was ready to. I was ready. I had a cup of coffee. I was ready to throw a cup of coffee. I was
the first time I heard him curse.
was hot, man.
Ever. Because internally, I was just crying because I had never heard him curse.
I won't ever do that again.
No.
Because you know what that did to me in that moment? It was that these guys don't respect what I do. That's what that said to me. I've been working on this, on this show. No, I've been working on this show.
That's it. I think that's just a classic. It's just a classic clip.
It is interesting that they're and I don't
Ernie's
know,
better man than I'll tell you that. I would have walked out.
Yeah, I don't know what the roundtable purpose was, but it does feel like when you start to do so many victory laps about the good times, should you just end it? I don't know.
In what way? What do you mean?
I mean, it's like that. I don't know. What was the context of that roundtable?
I think it's from like a
they did
some
like
documentary.
They did a documentary, I think.
Yeah,
right. It's like if somebody comes out with the greatest hits album, you don't necessarily think that they're gonna.
I see what you're saying.
Music.
Yeah. So got on top. You also forget Shaq was not involved with them for a really long time. So that Shaq or that story predates Shaq too.
Pre-Shaq.
I think it's a really good point, Alan.
If they're taking, hey man, it's been a good. Maybe it's just one more fair. But obviously, if you make a deal, it's not going to be for 1 year.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. Not that I want it to be gone, but
Well,
it's still good.
It's comfort TV. PTI still running. They probably don't need.
PTI is still running.
They definitely don't need to be shilling out Tony and Mike anymore. But
Tony Kornheiser.
I think it worked. I think to your point, they would probably tell you our best days of television are probably over, but TNT will tell you your best days of ratings are not over.
Right.
So I think that's really to highlight your point, that I think that's probably more so what it is they probably know they can never hit those fastballs the same way they used to, but at the same time, they still a crafty hitter.
Yes.
They can and people will tune in just to see him swing. So I think that's more what it is.
I mean, look, I'm not saying to stop. It just is so funny when it's, oh yeah, now we're just gonna get back into it, even though we've already had so many good times. Okay, so who the Kings would keep? Chris, you were reading some, I guess, other details for what would happen in an expansion draft and who would be available.
Yeah, shout out Keith Smith, who's just ridiculously talented at this kind of stuff. He wrote an article for Spotrac last year where it pretty much details every single aspect of what an expansion draft would possibly be. And he writes that essentially if there were to be an expansion draft, it would take place in between the end of the NBA Finals and before the actual NBA draft happens. You get to protect the following. This is the criteria for the players that you are allowed to protect. Players under contract, players who are restricted free agents. You have the ability to protect restricted free agents, and you can protect players who have a team or player option for the following season. You are not allowed to protect players who are unrestricted free agents. So I'm trying to, I mean, just whatever. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. You obviously can't
way
just
to
say,
lock them down.
Yeah, you can't take our guy, even though we don't have any ownership of him. So essentially they have to be under some form of contract in order for you to protect them. Each team can protect up to 8 players, but you can choose to protect less for whatever reason if you so choose. At least one of the players that you choose has to be under contract, so you cannot just go a ton of people who are restricted or tons of people who have a player option or anything like that. It has to be at least one player of your protected players that are actually signed to a contract. And the player status is based on the day of the draft. So that pertains more to players with team or player options. You have to make sure that those are still active the day of the draft. And so with all that being said, we now move on to who the Kings would protect in their in this theoretical, hypothetical NBA expansion draft. And again, you can save up to 8 players. And this all stemmed because yesterday at pretty much around this time, we had a texter say, I'm starting to grow increasingly worried that the Kings would lose Keegan Murray in an expansion draft. And let me tell you, ladies and gentlemen, for everybody out there listening on this wonderful radio station, there is a 0% chance that the Kings are losing Keegan Murray via expansion draft unless expansion happens in 15 years and Keegan Murray is an old veteran at that point. Because, with the 8 players, there's just no way Keegan is even on the verge of making the cut. So let's start with Keegan on the list because he's, especially right now, I would say top 3 protected players. Or should we even do that? Should we add who is the biggest priority for them to save? Or is
that's
that
what I only want to do
7 and 8, right? You probably want to do more so who's on the chopping block.
I want to do who's on the chopping block, and then I want to cut down the number.
That's fair.
Which is essentially what you're saying.
Yes. Because number we'll just do the what feels to me as the obvious 8 and the obvious out. So the 8 that I believe the Kings would save and not think twice about it. Keegan Murray, De'Aaron Fox, Malik Monk, Domantas Sabonis, DeMar DeRozan, Devin Carter, Keon Ellis, and Kevin Huerter. Those are my 8. Leaving out Trey Lyles, Alex Len, Colby Jones, Jalen McDaniels, Jordan McLaughlin, Isaac Jones, and Isaiah Crawford. None of those guys really scream. I know some people might, why are you keeping Kevin? Kevin Huerter has more value to me than all of those other. I think Colby, maybe, but even then, I don't think they're that high on Colby right now. Somebody out there is going to say why Trey Lyles over Kevin is crazy. I know somebody will say that. It's not crazy at all.
But
Kevin Huerter's a starter and has been a starter. And just been a bench player.
There's Kevin Huerter, and then it turns into who do you think Devin Carter will be better than Colby Jones? And I think everybody's going to say yes.
That's the 13th pick versus second rounder. I would hope so, especially if that happens.
Where would Colby go in this draft though, or where would he
in the expansion draft?
No.
in this
past draft, higher,
yeah, but not 13.
So really the only question marks would be Trey Lyles or Kobe Jones. And to your point, it's Kevin Huerter. Nobody is going to out Keon Ellis. And it's either Kevin Huerter. Somebody would question Kevin Huerter and Devin Carter, but I don't.
You can make the salary argument for Kevin, unprotect him, and then you just get to move off of his contract. But I don't think his contract's terrible.
So let's have some more fun here.
Let's do it.
Now let's cut it to what? 4?
4?
No, well, you have to cut it to 3. That's how you make it fun. Because obviously I still think we know who the 4 is. So now you have to cut it to 3.
I think it's De'Aaron. I think it's Keegan. And it's probably Sabonis, I would guess. Malik's a 6 man. You can replace that. DeMar's 30, whatever years old. Keon is a fun player, but he's not more important than Keegan. He's definitely not more important than Fox and Sabonis.
No. The question is DeRozan. The question is that 5 between Keegan, Fox, Monk, Sabonis, and DeRozan. That's the question. Who out of that 3? So you're going with basically the classic Keegan, Fox, and Sabonis.
Yeah, I don't know. I can't think of an argument for anyone else.
And when they're gone, you obviously lose their contract, so you would be able to bag somebody out, I'm assuming.
That I'm not super familiar with. I would assume so. I would assume that then comes off your cap, and then I would assume that it just kind of becomes free money. But we haven't been in that situation since 2004, so I'm not super familiar.
Yeah, the Soul Shine Band on Sack Chat says, I would take Keon, Carter, and Lyles over Huerter.
So you would just take Lyles over Huerter.
Yeah, really, Lyles over Huerter.
I don't see why you would do that. I think Trey is fine. But I think Trey is way more replaceable than Kevin Huerter.
If anything, the fact that it's even a question after how poorly Kevin played,
yes, that
based on how well he played 2 years ago, I just don't see how you can take Trey.
Yeah,
not over Kevin,
unless you're just thinking too much about guard. Oh, the Kings have too many guards, and this is an easy way to get rid of a guard. But I would think that in an expansion draft, it's just about keeping talent. And I think the only argument in my eyes for why you would let go of Kevin is, again, to just get rid of his contract and have somebody else take that on, because maybe you say, oh yeah, Kevin Huerter is just a shooter and we're paying him $15-16 million a year. If somebody else wants to take that off our books, go ahead. We can find a shooter for much cheaper. But yeah, player for player, I just think Kevin Huerter is a better player and a little bit tougher to find than Trey Lyles. Trey's great. I love Trey. Still want to be commissioner of the Trey Bays, but
not anymore.
Yeah, yeah. Still,
is this fair to you? The expansion draft. I mean, really, the only good players you're going to get from this draft, or I should say, players that could move you, is from the Celtics.
Sure, yeah. I mean, that's how it is, though. I mean, you want these you don't want to have a Vegas Knights situation and have the expansion team win the title in the first year. Yeah. I mean, that's definitely not better. It's not a good way. Teams would definitely have a problem. I'm going to have a problem if my Sacramento Kings haven't sniffed the finals their entire existence, but we can only protect 6 guys. And so this new team gets to walk in with no history and just automatically walks into success. That doesn't seem fair to me at all. So I would much rather have an expansion team start from the bottom. They still get high draft picks. They can still figure it out. The Bobcats took Emeka Okafor. They just took the wrong guy. Like, I think it's just a matter of that you do get ways to build this thing, but you're not going to walk into a playoff situation as an expansion team. We just can't have that.
Yeah, it feels like a lot of players. Feels like a lot. It feels like 8 players. Feels like most rotations are only 8 players.
Well, some teams are in different situations. Like some teams the Kings are a little bit more defined in their ages. Some teams might say, yeah, we have a Marcus Smart, but we really want to make sure we keep a Jake LaRavia or something, like they might value somebody who is younger because they view their potential as better versus keeping the elder statesman who, might be a better player today and will definitely get picked by the expansion team. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different calculations. And I'm sure if we did this with I'm definitely not going to do it for every team, but I'm sure you could draft a semi-decent team, especially with how deep the league is these days.
It's the young guns. It's a young team that hopefully you're basically drafting guys, for example, and I don't know if they would be available, but give me Reed Shepherd, Rob Dillon, you know what I mean? All these top picks that who knows if some of the Timberwolves might not be able to save Rob Dillingham. You know what I mean?
Though. They definitely, if you just draft a guy, he's definitely going to be on your save list.
That's why you get 8. It's a lot. That's a lot. All right, coming up next, you have Brandon Aiyuk holding in, but somebody on the Niners is actually holding out. And let me tell you, it's a very important piece. We'll tell you who that is and what's going on when we get back. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
Our first year as the radio home of the San Francisco 49ers is one we will never forget.
And Logan Ryan picks him up. Looks like they're playing man. Laporta's over there as well. It's 5 out. It's empty on 4th down. Goff back. Not going to get out to his right. Being chased. Throws, and it is incomplete. The 49ers take over on 4th down. Again!
Congratulations to the 49ers on a terrific year. And thank you for so many wonderful memories.
What's up? We're talking to Chad Hoblet of Hoblet Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Woodland. Chad, tell me what's happening for Chrysler's Make This the summer sales event.
Everywhere you go, things are getting more expensive. But at Hoblet, we're working to save you as much as we can, which is why right now you can save up to $15,500 off MSRP on new 2024 Ram 1500 Bighorn or Laramie Hemi 4x4s. And we figured why not include no payments for 90 days.
You guys are going all out this month, aren't you?
From the time my grandfather opened the first Hoblet dealership back in 1949, one thing we've strived for is to treat you like family. That's why you'll find the big city selection and savings with over 400 Rams available, but the small town care and attention when you buy from Hoblet Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram.
Search, select, and save through their whole inventory at HobletDodge.com. Unbeatable prices, unbeatable selection. Nobody beats Hoblet, period.
$15,500 total net savings on select new 2024 Ram 1500s after $8,500 factory rebates and $7,000 dealer discounts. Rebates include $2,000 Chrysler Capital bonus cash. Most financed with Chrysler Capital qualify. And $500 first responder cash for current members of eligible first responder association. At least 5 of this net savings. Sample VIN 190060. See dealer for details.
Live and local.
This is Sacktown Sports.
From Nick Wagner, covers the Niners for ESPN. Trent Williams is a holdout in all caps. He did not report like Brandon Aiyuk did. He's subject to a $50,000 per day fine, which cannot be forgiven under the CBA because he's beyond his rookie contract. So you have Trent Williams looking to get paid, and John Lynch is working with Williams' agents to get it worked out. Nate, is it another situation where you have, okay, well, Christian McCaffrey wanted to get paid and he got paid. Sorry, Brandon Aiyuk, he's more important than you. We heard, and correct me if I'm wrong, we heard about this Brandon Aiyuk situation before Trent Williams decided, actually, we thought Trent Williams was going to retire. He says, actually, I want more money. Everyone keeps telling me how important I am, how good I am. I'm the best in the game. Why don't I just get another bag? And now, if I were to guess, he could get paid before Brandon Aiyuk, and Brandon Aiyuk is just more money that is not going to go to Brandon Aiyuk.
What's the question?
I don't know.
Okay.
I do not know.
Well, I mean, it's just different position.
How does this end for
different value?
So, but that's what I'm saying. So where is Brandon Ayuk's value?
We've been trying to find that out all summer, I think. I mean,
because I think nobody is worried about Trent Williams. Not one person.
I think
internally, you mean?
Internally.
What do you mean?
He's going to get paid. They're going to pay him. They have no, again,
I thought
they have no choice.
I think there might be worry about potential injury, as I knock on wood back here.
After they pay him?
Just going forward. He gets dinged up. He's old at 35, 36.
Might even be, yeah.
I mean, he's great, but yeah, he moves so quick and he moves a lot. He's great footwork, but it's just like That's probably the number one concern.
Ari Marov laid out the situation in San Francisco in a tweet here. So the situation in San Francisco, Brandon Aiyuk entering the final year of his contract, wants a new deal, and has requested a trade in the meantime. Trent Williams, 3 years remaining, but no guaranteed money, is holding out. Brock Purdy, who has been the best bargain in football, is up for an enormous extension next offseason, and San Francisco has to be mindful of that. That Purdy extension could be worth over $55 million per season if he has a big year. So that's what the Niners are facing. They know that payday is right around the corner. They know that not everyone's going to be able to stick around and have Brock on that value. This is the time where the Piper is coming. He is the bill is due. Mm-hmm. And I think that's really what it is the Niners at some point here have had to or have been able to avoid and push away year after year and say, no, it's fine. It's fine. It'll be new next year. It'll be due next year. We'll deal with that. That's future Niner problem to deal with. I think it's just now you have weight. You actually have decisions to make. You can no longer make everyone happy. At some point here, you're going to have to pick and choose which guys you want to keep and which guys are going to stay. And I think this could be the start of the power drain a bit is like you said, not all these guys are going to be able to get their deals. And if Trent Williams is going to get prioritized before Brandon Aiyuk, I can't imagine Brandon Aiyuk takes that well and that he's going to accept.
He doesn't care that it's a different position.
No, he's not going to.
He does
I
not
just think
care.
It's a mess. Yeah, I mean, this is it's a great problem to have, of course, but I think that this is this is again at some point the bill was going to be due, and it feels like now a lot of people are knowing that Brock's money is around the corner, and they're definitely not getting paid once that deal is signed. So you got to try and get it in now. Try and get it in before that pen hits the paper, or else you're not getting paid.
Do you think? Let's say Aiyuk. Is there any and I'm saying this very relatively speaking when you talk about embarrassment and you're getting paid $26 million a year. But is there any embarrassment if Aiyuk just says, fine, just give me the 26 and let's rock and roll? Is there any form of, because I've been watching The Boys, right? And I don't know why neither of you guys don't watch The Boys. It's very surprising to me. But in the premise of The Boys with they're superheroes, but it's like
it's lewd.
They're every day they're owned and they're marketed, right? So Vought owns the superheroes, okay. And whenever the superheroes or specific superheroes, a lot of people have superpowers, then there's specific superheroes called the Seven. And whenever somebody kind of steps out of line, Vought says, "Oh, you're not going to do that. We pay you a lot of money. You're going to see it our way." And that's kind of what it feels like in the NFL, that these guys, they based on leverage, they'll try to, no, player empowerment, I want to do this, I want to do that. And most of the time they just come back walking with their tail between their legs. If they don't have a ridiculous amount of leverage, like you're the quarterback. CeeDee Lamb is holding out.
Yeah.
CeeDee Lamb is way more important to the Cowboys than Brandon Aiyuk is to the Niners.
Yes.
And it just feels like every year there's different guys holding out. And I don't know. I wonder what the percentage is on successful holdouts.
It feels like they work more times than not.
You think?
Yeah, I think so. I think more times than not, at some point, the team starts, especially once the season is around the corner, because right now in training camp, it's the players that lose out. They're not getting the reps. They're not getting the experience, and they're getting fined for missing practice. Once games are around the corner, that's when the team starts to be like, well, hold on, wait, we actually kind of need Chris Jones for week 1, or else we're going to be in a world of trouble all year. So I don't really know what that means, but I would say more times than not, it does feel like, and whether it's the actual action of holding out that is what does it, but it does feel like holdouts usually do end with new contracts being signed. But it usually just takes a lot of time. And usually the funny thing is when you do sign the contract, the team ends up waiving all of the fees for missing practice anyway. So I think that's kind of what Aiyuk's strategy is. And Trent Williams also is 36 years old. I'm sure he's in no rush to do as many practices as possible. So it might be about money with Trent. It also just might be, I don't want to do this again.
Yeah.
I've probably done 16 different training camps.
Yeah.
I think I can miss one. It's okay.
Yeah, and they said something similar when Bosa wasn't there, just saying,
They're like, hey, he doesn't need to be here.
Yeah, he's gonna do what he's gonna do. Yeah, the Trent Williams situation is quite different. But if you're Brandon Aiyuk, I just want to know. I wish I could fast forward. I'm really bad when I watch shows that when I finish an episode and I'm done for the night, I'll read what comes up next. And my wife, stop doing that. I know. I don't know why I do it. And I just want to see what happens. Because, okay, now you're holding in, right? So you don't get fined. But then what happens week 1?
Yeah, we'll see. That's when you really got to be about that life for both sides. I mean,
because they're not. Because it comes
you're
to
missing
a point,
game checks and you're missing your star receiver. So
right. Because if you're the Niners, hey, buddy. If you haven't, I know obviously you've been here for a couple years, but if you haven't practiced or anything, we're going to run you out there as the 1B option, as the possible 1A, 1B second option as a wide receiver. No, because Pearsall, he's going to be back soon. So if you're not, we're just going to throw you out there.
Maybe. I mean, I don't know. It depends if he's in game shape or not. That would be the thing I would be worried about, is if he's in game shape or not, or maybe. I know Mike Gundy got in trouble for saying it, but maybe his punishment is, hey, you're not in shape. I'm going to run you out as much as possible because I'm going to get you in shape, and it's going to be a bit of a punishment.
Right. Right. Or like you said, you can play, but that ball keeps getting thrown and those targets start diminishing. And now you're on your the last year of your deal, you wanted to mess around. You don't have the production, and now you get paid. Now you're in Schroeder category, and now that next, and similar to Klay Thompson, I know we wanted another year, but now you might be looking at less money going into next year if you don't produce.
Yeah,
just give it up. I'm trying to tell him. Can we get Brad so we can tell Aiyuk to give it up? Seriously, Brad SF Niners, tell your boy to just give it up, man. Is that how you feel, Nate? Should he just give it up?
I think I'm going to give up. That's kind of how I'm feeling.
Chris, should he give up?
I mean, you mean give up in terms of just take the 26? Just
take the 26.
I think so. I mean, I think so. I don't know.
I don't see a path for him getting paid more.
Exactly. And 26 is nothing to scoff at.
It's
a lot of money.
Or somebody's going to overpay for him twice because they're going to have to overpay for him in the trade.
Yep.
And then they're going to have to actually pay him that 28 to 30 mil.
That's great for Aiyuk then.
Yeah, he better produce.
You just don't see. That's a lot of ifs.
I think you just want it to be over with so you don't have to talk about it anymore.
No, it's a lot of ifs.
No.
And if it wasn't the NFL, if it was the NBA, and if Aiyuk was in a fat suit, then maybe. But if you're not going to actually hold out and you're not going to be in a fat suit, then what are we talking about?
That's a bar. Aiyuk in a fat suit? That's pretty good.
Yeah. There's no fluke to Aiyuk if he's in a fat suit. All right,
dude.
Coming up next, number 3.
You got to get back into it.
I know. Number 3, number 2, our QB list doesn't come to a close, but it gets pretty darn close. Stiles and Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
The NFL's leading rusher plays here.
Get a handoff to McCaffrey, walks in the end zone. Handoff to McCaffrey, takes it right down to the goal line. He does his thing again. McCaffrey goes in motion right. Backwards pass led by Juszczyk. A block there. Hurdles a man. 10, 5, touchdown! CMC!
You can hear all of Christian McCaffrey's touchdowns on your home for 49ers football. Sacktown Sports.
Sacramento weather is brought to you by Elk Grove Honda.
I'm Tamara Berg in the KCRA 3 Weather Center. For your Wednesday, we're looking at mostly sunny skies and feeling the heat still for this afternoon. Highs will peak in the range of 100 to about 105. Bit of a delta breeze comes up tonight with temperatures in the 60s overnight. Get the latest forecast on the KCRA 3 News and the KCRA 3 app.
At Elk Grove Honda, we've acquired some of the best pre-owned cars we can find. Whether you purchase a new Honda or a like-new pre-owned Honda, Elk Grove Honda has the right Honda at the right price. In the Elk Grove Auto Mall, Highway 99 and Elk Grove Boulevard, or elkgrovehonda.com.
I gotta get an Elk Grove Honda.
Jason Mraz and the Super Band live. The mystical, magical, rhythmical, radical ride. Friday, August 9th, the venue at Thunder Valley. Jason Mraz and the Super Band with special guest Molly Miller Trio. For tickets, visit ThunderValleyResort.com. Jason Mraz and the Super Band in concert. Pick up the new album, Mystical, Magical, Rhythmical, Radical Ride.
Imagine the most beautiful panoramic setting. Endless waves crashing on a beach. kids playing in the park. Now, right smack in the middle of your perfect picture, imagine just one piece of litter. It doesn't fit, does it? And it simply doesn't belong anywhere. Certainly not in California. Not even one piece. Good news? If we work together, we will change it all. Clean California. Zero litter is the goal. CleanCA.com.
Sacramento, Dierks Bentley is coming to town. Saturday, September 28th at Hart Health Park at Cal Expo for Country in the Park 2. And he's bringing some friends. Harmony, Tyler Rich, Dasha, Kelsey Hart, and more. Saturday, September 28th at Hart Health Park at Cal Expo. Get your tickets today before they're sold out at CITPfest.com. Brought to you by McKee Brothers Plumbing and Hooter Incorporated and Dawson Oil Company.
If your passion is bass fishing, only one radio show has the action, information, and excitement of your favorite outdoor sport. Ultimate Bass, hosted by Tournament Bass Pro and California Outdoor Hall of Famer Kent Brown, takes you live to where the fish are biting every Saturday morning. Only Ultimate Bass feeds your passion with the latest news, products, tips, and advice from the pros. Ultimate Bass with Kent Brown, Saturday mornings at 5 a.m. on Sacktown Sports 1140, part of SEP's Saturday Morning Outdoors.
Unleash your backyard's potential with Premier Pools and Spas. As the region's top pool builder, no challenge is too difficult for us. Let us create the perfect pool for your home and your budget. Call or search Premier Pools and Spas and get started today. CSLB number 589234.
Let's face it, nothing makes you look older than you really are than thinning hair. But what if you could not only increase your hair count, but promote new hair growth without surgery, without drugs with potential side effects, and without a prescription from your doctor? Well, now you can, thanks to a breakthrough new supplement called Hair Grow, provided by New Nordic, the #1 supplier of dietary supplements in Europe. Hair Grow is now available in the U.S. Only Hair Grow contains tocogaya, a powerful antioxidant that has received a U.S. patent. Multiple clinical studies show Hair Grow is safe and effective in promoting new hair growth. In one study, 95% of the patients using Hair Grow saw increased hair count. Don't lose more time and more hair. Try Hair Grow today to feel and look your best. Available online at Amazon, Walmart.com, and NewNordicUSA.com, or in stores at your local CVS. Look younger and feel more confident with Hair Grow by New Nordic at NewNordicUSA.com, or in stores at your local CVS.
Now here's what I want you all to do for me.
Sacktown Sports.
Check us out on YouTube. Search Sacktown Sports and subscribe.
Chris, some news coming out before we get into our 3-2 quarterback. Sports correspondent. This is from John Auerend. NBA came out with something. This was 8 minutes ago. Warner Brothers Discovery's most recent proposal did not match the terms of Amazon Prime's videos offer, and therefore we have entered into a long-term arrangement with Amazon.
Wow.
Our primary objective has been to maximize the reach and accessibility of our games. Our new agreement with Amazon supports this goal by complementing the broadcast, cable, and streaming packages that are already a part of our new Disney and NBCU arrangements.
Wow. That's incredible. So there you go, Alan. You I'm joking here, but you got your wish.
No.
TNT and Inside the NBA will have its last season next season.
Way to go,
there you
Alan.
go.
Congrats, man.
This is not what I wanted.
The smiles are gone.
I know Nate loved that show. I don't think it's done.
Yeah.
It's not going to be done. I'll put it to you like this, though.
What do you
Should
mean?
It be done?
It is done. They don't have
Yes.
They don't have a choice.
Yeah, but
it's not. We've had this conversation before. It's not just about the 4 dudes sitting there too. So if they got all 4 of them, there's so much more that goes into it, like dropping ping pong balls on Chuck and stuff. It's like all these guys, and you'll hear like one of the background guys will like laugh at Shaq, and Shaq takes his glasses off and starts. He's like, "Hey, be quiet."
Well, and also, there's contracts and all of this media stuff. Ernie said he wasn't going to leave.
Yeah.
Right. At least I think that's initially what he said. So they would all have to be free agents, if you will, like Shams to pull this off. Real quick, Nate, I wanted to get your thoughts on this. This is from, she was almost a friend of the show, Kay Adams. Adam Schefter posted this, and Kay Adams said this was something she thinks that the Niners could do, okay? Adam Schefter says, and this was yesterday. Browns' Amari Cooper is getting $5 million of a raise, while the team is also guaranteeing him the $20 million currently left on his contract. Cooper still will be entering the final year of his deal. It also means $80 million of the $100 million will have been guaranteed. So Kay Adams quote tweeted Adam and said, so basically my idea for the Niners and Aiyuk. So basically they would give Aiyuk a raise to get him to the number that he wanted and then get him in the building and figure it out next season.
Man, yeah, it's nice to get that number you want, but still long term, you're just gonna have the same problem.
I know why the Niners would. I get why the Niners would do it. I think the reason I keep on saying just do what you got to do is because of what Chris was saying yesterday. It's the franchise tag stuff. Like the Niners have so much leverage, they don't have to give in. After this season, they can franchise tag him. So I just don't see any winning.
Well, yeah, it's not a win really for Aiyuk because if he does the K Adams strat, because he wants a long-term deal. That's what everyone wants. And he wants a guaranteed money. I don't know how guaranteed money works with that, but I know that's what everyone wants. And obviously everyone forever has wanted multiple years on their contract. So I don't think that would work.
Well, you mean it wouldn't work because it wouldn't make him happy?
Yes.
Yeah, it wouldn't say, you know what, cool, because he's getting 14. So really,
he's doubling his money basically.
And I don't know if they would even do that. I mean, we're talking about Amari getting $5 million. Right. You know what I mean? And I guess, apparently he's cool. He's cool with getting the $5 million raise. Yeah, and also so he would get to 25 because he was at 20. The problem is Aiyuk is at 14. So even if they wanted to give him, I don't think they're just going to give him a $10 million raise for a year.
I think they would. I just think it's the long term. I believe in all these contracts. I think the issues are, like I just said, guaranteed money. Yeah. I mean, that was the issue with Lamar Jackson. And okay. Speaking of, it's coming up. Lamar Jackson, and then getting multiple years on your deal. Like that's what they want. I really think it just boils down to those.
All right, I don't want to waste any more time. Let's get into number 2.
You're starting
number
today.
3. Me?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Because I have the best list. That's why.
Yeah.
No, well,
sure.
okay.
Just tell me.
Yeah, you're right.
Well, that's right. Dak Prescott, number 10. Matthew Stafford, number 9. Justin Herbert, number 8. Brock Purdy, number 7. CJ Stroud, number 6. Aaron Rodgers, number 5. Joe Icy, number 4. Josh Allen, number 3. And Lamar Jackson, number 2.
All right. Sell me on Josh Allen.
I mean, the guy was made in a lab, okay? The way he throws the football, the way he can run the football, he is the last of a breed that isn't afraid to take chances, okay? He will put the team on his back. And Lamar, he's the most unique weapon in the league. The most. And people got to stop sleeping on his arm talent as well.
Yeah.
I love when you do these, your explanation is always like a motivational speech.
Yeah.
Instead of like 4,000 receiving yards, 15 touchdowns. You're just like,
no stats.
Josh Allen.
What are the stats?
That's the kind of guy I would let date my daughter.
Well,
you didn't say that. I
what are the
guess it
stats?
made it too real, but yes. No, it's just the energy that you bring is motivational speaking.
Okay, so your list is purely based on how energetic these players make you.
It's just the eye test. If you either got it or you don't.
You're right.
Got it or you don't.
Jameis Winston, man, the eye test.
Is it me or you, Nate?
I think it's you, Chris.
Okay.
Oh, good.
My number 10 was Aaron Rodgers. My number 9 was Brock Purdy. My number 8 was Matthew Stafford. Number 7, Justin Herbert. Number 6, Dakota Prescott. Number 5, Joe Shiesty. Don't call him Slim Shady Burrow. And number 4 was CJ Stroud. And Nate, unfortunately, our run of not having similar lists is officially over because I have Josh Allen at number 3 and I have Lamar Jackson at number 2.
Okay. We were the same on CJ. weren't we?
Yes, you and I were the same on CJ.
Yeah,
I'm more speaking. Yeah, I guess our day.
You're speaking to Mr. Motivational Speaker Chris Farley over here, Van Down by the River guy.
Yeah, I think if I can be honest too, because we are an honest show, I really wanted to have Lamar at 3, and I honestly considered having him at 4. And it's just, I've been very disappointed with Lamar Jackson's playoff performance. And I really do think, yes, it's an incredibly fun style of football, but they play a very specific style of football, which definitely caters to Lamar. That's not his fault because he succeeded in it. But at some point here, Alan, we have to see this dude win a playoff game with the abilities that we gush over all the time. It feels like too many times in these gotta-have-it divisional round in the conference championship games, we need a 250-yard performance out of Lamar Jackson, and we're getting these 172 with a touchdown and a pick, and those are just random numbers. Those are he honestly might have some statistical playoff performances that might be what I'm talking about, but it hasn't felt like you go into a playoff game, you're terrified to play Patrick Mahomes. Right. You're terrified of Josh Allen. I don't care what you think, if Josh Allen's reached his ceiling or if he's under or overrated. If you're playing the Bills in a playoff game, you're going to have some fear. Yeah. I think there is fear of Lamar Jackson, but I think it's just based off of what he's like, the boogeyman. It's what he could do. There's not really much tangible, oh my gosh, Lamar just took over in this playoff game. They heavily rely on the run game. They rely on their defense. It's not really his fault. And again, I do have Lamar Jackson at number 2 on this list.
Because you feel like you have to.
But because I feel like I have to. If he did win MVP last year, honestly, if they would have given just as simple as he could have had the same numbers as he had last year, let's just say they gave the MVP to Brock, I think Lamar is honestly 4th or 5th on my list.
Really?
Right now.
And honestly, they almost tricked off that playoff game to the Texans.
They really did.
Yeah, that and at the end of the Chiefs game, I just watched this clip the other day. He's throwing into quadruple coverage, single receiver, throws that pick in the end zone when they're trying to come back.
Did have the Zay Flowers fumble.
I want to love Lamar. I really do. But I need to see.
This is a bad end. It was a bad end of the season.
After a holdout season, too, where all offseason we had this whole drama about being traded and stuff.
And new offensive coordinator. Oh, we're going to throw the football now.
The same thing. I mean, the Bills fired their offensive coordinator halfway through the season, too. And kind of. So I think him and Lamar and Josh Allen, they both fall into that, feel like they have to put the whole team on their back, go into hero ball mode, and that is their downfall ultimately. And I think the only player in the league that can do that is Oliver, number 1, I'm assuming. But anyways, my list, 10, Jared Goff, 9, Jordan Love, 8, Aaron Rodgers, 7, Jalen Hurts, 6, Josh Allen, 5, Brock Purdy, 4, CJ Stroud, 3, Joe Ice. He's a winner. Allen, right? He's a winner. The guy, he's been, so the injuries scare you, right? 28 years old. He's been injured a lot coming into the league. This guy finds a way to win games, though. He is teetering on that hero ball level, but it doesn't get to his head. He's Joe Cool for a reason, right? I don't like calling him that because of Joe Montana, but it's just he's so good, and the teams he's had have been mostly bad or mediocre teams.
Well,
he's got great receivers.
He's first in the league in aura, I think, for quarterbacks.
Yeah, even without the hair.
The hair's a good time.
The cigar video from them winning the Natty.
I know.
Yeah.
I know.
Come on.
I
That
know.
thing was shot like 12K.
I know.
Yeah.
I'm looking for that camera now.
The man,
still have not seen
confidence is through the roof. The man has it.
Yeah.
The man's a great player, very smart player. The talent around him, he has had pretty good tight ends too. But arguably the greatest wide receiver duo in the NFL for a while with Higgins and Jamar and Tyler Boyd as well. I forgot his name. Joe Burrow at 3. The only thing that is injuries that worry me about him. Number 2, Lamar. I think you put it perfectly when you said the greatest weapon in the league. I never thought of it like that. What?
You don't have Josh Allen on your list?
No, I did. No. He's
Okay.
6.
Okay.
Yeah,
he's 6.
6. I
He's
missed
6.
that train a long time ago.
You didn't think I had Brock Purdy. You didn't think he had Josh Allen.
I'm not writing down these lists.
No,
I have.
I thought these lists would be a little bit more
and
uniform.
I'm just drawing a line through Nate's.
Can we get some text about who has the best and worst list?
Who has the best list?
Maybe we could tweet this out or something and have a poll.
Yes.
Should we do that?
Let's
do
do
it
that.
on Friday. Yeah.
Okay. Do it on Friday. We cannot forget. We cannot
I would
forget.
never.
I have a photograph.
I would
Yeah.
never.
And you write. That's why you write things down, right? That's why you have a photograph.
Well, it
in there.
helps the photographic note.
Anyways, do you guys have an issue with Burrow and Lamar with me?
No,
or-
I don't.
Yeah.
I don't.
Okay.
Do you feel the same that we do about Lamar, or are you less critical because he still has done things? I mean, I feel like I just ripped him like he's been a bum, but like
Yeah.
he's definitely done things.
I think the issue is with the NFL talent pool at quarterback. I'm not saying Lamar Jackson's bad. I'm just saying there's no other, like, even let's say 10 years ago, you had like Drew Brees and Big Ben kicking it. Like, these guys were around who you'd be like, okay, I've seen them win. I've seen them do it. Prime Aaron Rodgers. I've seen them do it. Like, they're clearly better. There's only one like solidified, bona fide talent right now in the NFL at quarterback who's shown that he can do it time and time again with bad. Literally last year, the receiving core
Was bad.
horrible.
Yeah, was bad.
So it's more of a reflection on the NFL for me. Is why Lamar Jackson is, why this list is the way it is.
There you go. Number 1 on Friday. And we'll get that tweet out as well. Coming up next, Crosstalk with the Drive Guys, Whitey Gleason, Stiles Watkins, Sacktown Sports.
De'Aaron Fox plays here.
Stolen by Fox. Breakaway coming up for De'Aaron. And a simple, casual spike to the left hand. The Kings lead by 3.
Sacktown Sports is your proud home of the Sacramento Kings.
Hey, it's Carmichael Dave for American Energy Heating and Air with a question. Have you recently had a technician diagnose your HVAC system? You were a bit surprised at how much it cost? Or did something seem off about their quote? Because at American Energy, they take pride in giving you honest, straightforward solutions to get that system up and running. Have their qualified technicians come out and give you a free second opinion. It's free. You got nothing to lose but some dollars off of that original quote. They're making the uncomfortable comfortable. They've been doing it since 1981, serving the greater Sacramento area. A+ with the Better Business Bureau. That's why they keep having customers coming back for more and more and more. You can call them and set that appointment at 916-520-9990. That's 916-520-9990 or AmericanEnergyAir.com.
Call 916-520-9990 now.
Hot summer savings now at Maida Chevy with $12,000 off MSRP on every new Silverado half-ton Turbo Max in stock after rebate.
$12,000 off every Silverado LT Turbo Max at Maida Chevy with at least 5 at this price.
Hot summer savings up to $12,000 off MSRP exclusively at Maida Chevy at MaidaChevy.com. Sacramento Silverado headquarters. Together, let's drive.
Not available with special financing, lease, and some other offers. Must trade in 2010 model year or newer in 7/31/24.
Made a great deal at Maida.
Summer is finally here, and so are all the best deals on DeWalt Power Tools at Fasteners Inc. Tool Outlet in Sacramento. Drills, impacts, circular saws, you name it, we have it for the best price in town, guaranteed. Whether you're a weekend warrior or a seasoned tradesman, we've got all the DeWalt products you need to crush your next project. So come on down to Fasteners Inc. Tool Outlet today on Power and Road for better tools and better prices. For more info, visit fastenersinc.net.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Welcome to AutoZone. What are you working on today? Starting trouble. No one likes that. We can get you set up for some stronger starts. You might just need a fresh charge, and we can take care of that free of charge. But if it is time for a new battery, we've got replacement batteries that'll fit your needs, starting at just $79.99. That's what makes us America's #1 battery destination.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
Timmy, everybody. Great job. Next up for our 5th grade class recital, we have Samantha.
10 times better performance can make a big difference. Castrol Edge Motor Oil gives your engine 10 times better high-stress performance. Castrol Edge, better oil for maximum performance. Now through December 28th, Castrol Edge and Edge High Mileage Motor Oil are on rollback at Walmart.
Claim based on sequence 9 test under high-low conditions versus API SP test limits.
Hey everybody, it's Kyle Draper here to remind you that the famous Bay Area pizza company Amici's East Coast Pizzeria has just opened its first location in Sacramento, offering takeout and delivery to the greater Sacramento area. Visit amicis.com and click on the Sacramento banner for their menu and to order. And as a special deal all this week, enter promo code SAC20 at checkout to receive 20% off your entire order. So when you want to enjoy great pizza with family and friends this week, use promo code SAC20 at amicis.com and Amicis delivers.
Shop Folsom Lake Kia for special offers right now. I'm Coach Doug Christie urging you to visit my friends at Folsom Lake Kia and save big on your next new or certified pre-owned vehicle right now. Visit Folsom Lake Kia.
Sports. Call or text at 916-339-1140.
Joined by Kevin Michael Whitey Gleason. Hello. Here on Stiles and Watkins. Couple more minutes with you until we turn over the keys to the bad boys of the afternoon.
We're the bad boys. You guys are the tag team, right?
No, we are also the. Well,
Yeah,
we
we're
have
also
like
the bad
5
boys,
different
too.
names.
You know, I'm sort of LeBron James,
Okay.
of the station.
Yeah,
Trying to boost the rating.
be. Leave it be.
Drop top,
raindrop. He just gets on these stretches and he just goes.
He'll eat the table.
Doesn't he say 3 with the same inflection as scream?
That's what I said. That's
they're
exactly
very
what I
good.
said. Yes.
I never knew.
Sounds so funny, but next time. I need to get a longer 3.
You know what his favorite basketball announcer is?
Mike Breen.
That's
it. I know you too well, Whitey.
Breen. Whitey, I was looking at a comparison here because it just off the top of my head. So Mike Trout was, I think it was his first game back with the Salt Lake Bees, and he had to leave early again. More lower body issues. So it had me wondering. I talk a lot about, obviously, loved Barry Bonds, but personally, Griffey was my guy growing up. And I was doing some comparisons on, man, could Mike Trout be the Ken Griffey Jr. of this generation? And crazy enough, Whitey, as good as he's been, if this goes south, he will have worse injuries than Ken Griffey Jr. I mean, he's not even close game-wise. I thought it was closer. So maybe I thought Griffey didn't play as long as he did, or I thought Trout had played longer. But I'm looking at the stats right here, and I thought it was going to be much closer than it is.
Griffey was pretty healthy till the end, right? Some
Right,
people said that's the way players used to age before chemical use was so rampant. It's like he was a great player, and then he got a little older, and he started to fade a little bit. By the way, Chris, I think I need to give my dog a bath.
Why is that?
He's got fleas.
All right.
This guy. I was trying to figure it out.
Sacramento, the city of
trees.
I got some pain in my knees. Yeah, I'm looking here, Whitey. 630. Chris is.
Should we just end the show?
No, we got 4 more glorious minutes.
Let's do it.
Ken Griffey Jr., 630 home runs. Mike Trout, 378 home runs.
That's not close.
Ken Griffey Jr., 2,671 games. Mike Trout, 1,518 games. I guess it says more about Griffey to your point than Trout. I just thought it would be closer. I don't know. Could you still call him the Ken Griffey of? Because I think to your point, Ken Griffey.
I didn't think I made a point, did I?
Well, you can't really say. Would you say that Ken Griffey's career got derailed by injuries? You would still say that, though, right?
I wouldn't say that unless I'm forgetting something.
Right. He still says hit 600, right?
Yeah.
He hit 630, but if it wasn't for injuries, it would hit 700.
Probably. I mean, yeah, you could argue that it maybe took away from overall greatness, but I mean, it didn't take away from his career.
But not like this.
Like, is Trout even? Where is Trout in terms of career? Is he 300s?
Yeah, he's at 378.
Yeah, like I mean,
so
that's
clearly it was a good exercise because I thought it was closer than it is, and if Trout can't kind of get it together health wise, it's almost was it Brandon Roy? It's not Brandon Roy because he's done more than Brandon Roy did.
I'm trying. There's not really a perfect comparison.
No,
I mean, it actually kind of reminds me
Terrell
of
Davis. I don't know
that character that Schwarzenegger played in that Batman movie.
Nice to meet you,
Mr.
Freeze.
All right. If that's the case, then yeah.
Whitey, please.
All right.
Come on. We've done enough. We've done enough here. Come on. Can I slightly derail things a little bit?
Yeah,
because
we're
we are
so
on the tracks
track
here. Whitey asked us something. This is probably too far off the track. Whitey asked us something after the show yesterday, and I did some looking into. You asked us, is this Nick Castellanos thing real? Is it an actual thing?
Yes.
Did you talk about it yesterday on the show?
And I mentioned you, and I said you are all in on it, and I'm just not quite there yet. I know there's a lot of people with you.
Did you go through the list of everything?
I thought it was only 4 things. Is there more? Did I miss some?
I found a list of about 10 different things, and we're going to get pretty dark here, so excuse the sensitive.
Oh, well, I apologize. I must have missed some.
There was the initial one that kind of sent everything off of the Reds announcer who gets fired for having the homophobic slur during the broadcast. He hits a home run as he's apologizing.
I'm so sorry, and I never meant to. And there's a drive.
There's a drive, yes, to left field. Castellanos out. He also had a career. There was a career threatening. These are a little bit looser than this as well. Career threatening injury for Fernando Tatis Jr. Castellanos hits a home run that day. There was a eulogy that day in a game for a World War II veteran. Castellanos hits a home run. There was a 9/11 tribute video package on the air. Castellanos hits a home run. There was an apology of an opposing team's coach for getting a DUI. Castellanos hits a home run. 10 minutes after Will Smith slapped Chris Rock, Nick Castellanos hits a home run. The day Dwayne Haskins passed away, getting hit on the freeway, he hits a home run. Memorial Day tribute package on air, Castellanos hits a home run. Eulogy for the deceased PA announcer for the stadium, Castellanos, home run. Cancer announcement for his team's owner, Castellanos, home run. Vince Scully death announcement, Castellanos, home run. An hour after the death of Queen Elizabeth, Castellanos, home run. A bridge collapses, killing several people, Castellanos, home run. The Ocean Gate submarine explosion, Castellanos, home run. 3 other celebrity deaths, 2 home runs on the anniversary of Hiroshima, assassination of Donald Trump, hits a home run. Biden withdraws from the race, Castellanos hits a home run.
I still don't see a pattern there. I honestly had not seen all those.
That's insane. That is
bizarre.
Insane.
Unusual coincidence.
Definitely. Yeah. I'm definitely not saying Castellanos is linked with any of those, or definitely not all bizarre. Of those. But it is so strange. It is so strange.
Well, that is one way to end it.
Yeah, it is.
Stiles and Watkins, thank you.
It's a thing.
It's a thing. Thank you for listening. Thank you to Nate. Thanks to all the callers, the texters, the sack chatters. And you have the drive guys.
I was going to sneeze.
Maybe you have the drive guys up next. I'm not sure.
Maybe just Drapes.
Maybe just Drapes. Whitey is unhinged. Don't go anywhere until tomorrow. Secure the bag. Light the beam.
Did you miss any part of our live local shows? Don't worry.